man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine,
Excellent.
Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than red counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pasco, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din,
No, leave it, sorry.
Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
We're all on the edge of our seats here. We're psyched up like you've never known it before. 382 runs ahead are England, and they have 2 days left. I can't believe that 3 days are already gone, and we're so advanced in the match. Can England pull it off, or will Australia bury the ghosts of Headingley by racing after an enormous score to win and take the Ashes unencumbered? 3-1! Can we see that happening? Good morning, good afternoon, good dawn, good dusk, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Guerrilla Cricket. I am Gorilla Hendo, sometimes known as Cat Sitting Hendo. If you've got a cat that needs sitting, I always need to get an advert in early. I can go anywhere and be anyone for your cat at very reasonable prices. And on my right, we've got a pretty decimated team today, it has to be said. Not too many people in, but they're going to do sterling work. I have Tim Part, newly unemployed.
Yeah, newly unemployed. Good morning, good day.
G'day. And on my left, she's been talking to Romanians. How is your Romanian?
I can't speak.
I don't mean him, but how is your Romanian language?
Fine.
How is your pet Romanian? What's his name again?
Pavel
Florin.
Florin.
Pavel Florin. Now look out for that. Where's your article going to be?
Being outside cricket.
When are you going to start writing for me?
Yes, I know. I am going to. I'm going to do.
I'm still waiting for Triscothic tribute.
I'm waiting to the end of the season.
Okay. All right. Well, I suppose we don't pay you, so it's to be expected. Well, what do we think? 382 ahead. Oh, well, I mean, you come in at the perfect time, don't you? Because you're the wonderful Jack Leach. No one can get him out. He's probably better than Steve Smith.
Yeah,
Jack
we think
Leach
he is.
He's batting out there. He's going to be out there with... Who's he out there with?
Jofra.
Jofra, of course, Jofra. And, well, England need to put on, another 30 or 40 this morning if they can.
Well, I
400
think
psychologically.
400's
400
good, yeah.
It's got to be the
Yeah.
psychological.
Whereas Bear was saying 350 is fine, but I'd still be nervous with 2 days to
Yeah.
go.
Plenty of time
yeah.
left, no rush.
Yeah.
And you want to use a bit of time. That means the pitch wears a little bit more. It means that Jack Leach can, get his turn going in from those foot
Our
marks.
batsman, you mean, Jack Lee?
Our batsman
Yeah.
Jack Leach can then, in his
Bowler.
as his all-rounder status befits, he will then come out and take 6 for. Anyway, they're on the way to the wicket. The two batsmen, they're getting a standing ovation already.
My word.
My goodness me, they get this already. What are they going to do when they come back with 50 apiece?
You thought they actually won something.
You would, wouldn't you? Incredible. Shall we jingle them up?
Yeah, who's going to face first, do you think?
I don't know. I didn't
Well,
see the end of last night.
Let's just go with this man first.
Coming up, here's a face that I know. It's Jack Leach. Now coming up is Jack Leach. On Jack Leach.
And he will be joined out there by none other than England's wonderful soap opera. That is this man.
And now it's time for Jofra Archer.
There we go. It's going to be Nathan Lyon to open the bowling. He's got through quite a bit of work in this England second innings. He's got a slip and a forward short leg, ring of 4 on the offside, 3 on the onside, so very defensive field. And Jack Leach pushes forward. Some people may say that he was beaten, but I think he deliberately
Yeah.
held the bat inside the line there, don't you think so?
Pure skill, yeah.
Pure skill.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
knew exactly what he was doing there. He's looking from beneath or behind those spectacles. He's got quite intense eyes, hasn't he, behind those spectacles? Very blue. Round the wicket, Nathan Lyon again. It's another beautiful day at the Oval. Oh, he hedged it! No, he hasn't. It was a fantastic ball.
Huge spin.
But yes, it went a long way, and it made me think that he had got an edge to that. And well taken by Payne. It's taken out a little bit of the pitch. Oh, he'll be.
Gary.
Well, he won't mind that.
No,
will
he won't
Jack
mind
Leach?
that at
He'll be
all.
very happy to see that. Man comes in at second slip, and one comes across from the onside to fill the gap on the off. So just 2 saving the single on the onside now as Lyon is in again. A little bit short and chopped very nicely. And wow, he's threaded that through. Absolutely
All the way.
superb from Jack Leach. And it's run away to the extra cover boundary for 4 runs. Absolutely glorious. You can put as many people on the offside as you want, but Jack Leach will find a way to thread it through. He's just skill on legs and with glasses.
I'd have him in the team above Steve Smith, really.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think
Yeah.
he is the man. We should come to your tweets very shortly. We'll also do the GPL. Oh, no, hang on. Steady on, Jack. Jack's getting a little bit overconfident
Going to his
there.
head, isn't it?
He has gone to his head. He's aimed a big slog sweep at that one from outside off stump and makes no contact. Again, it's taken a little... Oh, no, that's a replay of
I
the
think this one
previous
kept
ball.
low, which is good news as well.
Yes, it's all looking good for England at the
Excellent.
moment. As they move on to 317 for 8. In comes Lyon, bowls, and it turns, but he leaves this one outside the off stump very wisely and just scratches his mark once more. We got any tweets yet? Anyone?
Yes, Chris the Choir, who was in yesterday, says, wishing a good day to all at the Towers. Plenty of T20s to keep an eye on too. If Australia collapse in a heat, there's India v South Africa.
Is that today? Oh, right, the first one of those. This one again turns past the outside edge. Again, he may have just played inside it. So plenty of turn, but well read generally by Jack Leach, and that is the end of the first over of the morning.
I also have Martin Lawrence, hello Martin, saying just in case this is the last day of the series, I just want to say thank you for the coverage during the winter here in Australia. Thank you for joining us, Martin.
Yeah, absolutely, our pleasure. And of course, don't forget, we will be back during the winter. We will have New Zealand to do. Oh my God, overnight. Oh Lord. We will have the South Africa tour as well after Christmas. That'll be fun because it'll be at about 8
That's-
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Much more civilized.
better than New Zealand, definitely.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm not looking forward to New Zealand, especially the 5 T20s
Oh, no.
at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Would
I
any-
won't be up for those.
No, I
ones,
don't
I'm
think you
afraid,
will.
no.
I wondered, would any of you actually mind if we didn't do those?
Whoa.
I'm going to go... Just putting that out there as a feeler. T20 at 1 o'clock in the morning, English time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jofra Archer's going to face up. Slip, a gully, and a forward short leg. A man back at deep backwards square as well. And Archer tries to whip this one on its way as it's angled down the leg side by Cummins, who's, he hasn't. I wouldn't say he's not bowled impressively in this innings. It just hasn't gone for him quite as it has in previous ones. He's got 1 for 55.
Yeah, no, he still bowled well.
He still bowled very well. Shame about Joe Denley that he didn't get to his 100. It would have been nice
really
to
was,
see him
yeah.
go there, wouldn't it? But that was he out to that brilliant catch by Smith? Was that Smith? Or was
No.
that, was that
That was
Butler
someone
maybe?
else.
Well, maybe it was Butler. I just caught some highlights this morning. Didn't see much of the game yesterday. In comes Cummins from the pavilion end to Archer, and Archer goes back and plays that rather uncomfortably from in front of his ribs. Thought he might have got it past the man at short leg to go through for a single, but hadn't.
Well, we haven't seen much. Archer's, allegedly good at batting. Seen some exploits in the IPL. I haven't seen much this series, have we?
No, we haven't really.
Flashes. I've got 4 or no 6. I think I've got 4, but I think is he due one, as they say?
Well, I'm not sure of that. I just think he's got to play his way into Test cricket. I mean, it's one thing
Yeah.
to go out and hit sort of
Slap
25
some random
off 10
Indian
balls
bowler around.
when you haven't got any close fielders and
Pat
whatever.
Cummins bowling throat balls at you is entirely different.
It's a
isn't it?
different, it's a different thing, isn't it? Cummins in bowls, and once again down the leg side, and they think they've got a catch there. And umpire Erasmus says,
Ooh,
"I
he
don't think
twitched.
so."
He twitched.
twitched, but they seem very confident about that,
Oh,
and
give
they
me the
are
tea.
going to review this one. It seems a strange angle of attack, but it seems maybe effective from Australia. Be a shame if Archer has already gone from an England perspective. But we will wait now for the review. It is not a no ball. It is not a no ball, so maybe Cummins is finally getting some reward. Let's have a look. Goes down the leg side up towards his.
No when. Oh,
Well,
hang on.
I
Sorry.
No,
don't
when
think so.
is-
I don't think so.
Premature congratulations,
I'd be
dearie.
very surprised if that's hit his glove. I think that's shaved his pocket or his thigh pad. It looks to me as if the glove's well above.
Oh,
that.
hello, there we
Oh
go.
no, it isn't. It's
Right.
just undergloved it. And so Archer has gone, and we're not going to see him batting. It's not going to be his day. He's going to be on his way.
Wait for Erasmus to do the hokey cokey before jingling up. You never know.
Well, you can see that why Erasmus might not have given that. It was
Ah,
a very
there we
faint
go.
touch of the glove, underside of the glove.
One of these.
Archer's not aware, but he's shaking his head and he's very annoyed with himself. And it looks like we'll have Australia out there before long, unless, of course, Jack Leach can score 100.
And now we've got Broad, come on.
Well, that 400 lead, that 400 target is looking a little way away now. But it was obviously an angle of attack that Australia had decided upon, and you might have looked at it and thought, well, that's not a very good ball. But actually, that's what they were trying to do, get him to just jab to short leg or just glove one behind to the keeper, and he's been done. So very clever from the Australians. He goes for 3 from 9 balls.
Bringing in this man.
What would make Broad walk?
If he stumps with us
What
down,
would make Broad walk?
caught 5 feet off the
What
ground.
would make Broad walk?
If he trod on his
What would
stumps,
make Broad walk?
if God was one of the
What
arms,
would make Broad walk?
Broad walk.
Should say, of course, that the GPL is open. You can estimate how many runs you think will be scored in the day by going to guerillacricket.com/competitions. For every guess you have, you pay us £1, and whatever ends up in the pot, if you get it on the nose, at the end of the day, you win it all. Bear, what's in the pot today? He's coming back. How much?
55.
£55 is already in the pot, and if you go and add to that, and plenty of other people do, it'll just keep on going up.
That's almost a ticket to a test match excluding drinks and food.
Depends where you're going with the test match. Probably what in
Not
the
at
West
Lord's,
Indies.
is it?
No, not Lord's, it isn't. Yeah.
No, indeed not.
In fact, that's 55 for a drink at
Yes,
Lord's.
Yeah.
absolutely.
And for sometimes, as people say, for a sausage roll,
Ah.
you can pay £30 upwards if you're in the corporate hospitality. Broad then to face Cummins. What can he do? He's got a man in front of him on the offside as
Ooh.
well, and he drops this one down as it's aimed again at his throat.
Actually dropped it down.
Dropped it, sort of
Dropped it up.
almost swallowed it, I think, actually. It's,
What a surprise. They're bouncing at him.
it does seem unusual, doesn't it? I can't imagine what makes him think that he may be weaker against the short ball. We could enjoy one of those little Broad cameos, couldn't we? That would be nice. One of those ones where he gets 25 or 30 in no time.
I'm preloading 2 jingles, wicket and bounce.
Right, yes, that's probably about right.
Yeah, there we go.
And Tim Payne, of course, he's absolutely...
He's got a review
wonderful.
right.
He's got a review right. Yay! Short one, and Broad steps back, tries to smear it over mid-wicket, makes no contact whatsoever. It loops through to Payne, and there is no run. Leach has 9. Broad yet to score. Oh, it's another beautiful day, isn't it?
Oh, I know.
What is this with September?
I had a lovely walk through Crystal Palace Park here this morning and walked on the old pitch that W.G. Grace used to
Did you?
play.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. And the grass was wet.
Dewy.
Dewy. Very
Dewy.
dewy. And this was
Ooh.
at 10.
Wow. Okay.
I was teaching my daughter leg spin in Mayo Park this morning.
Short, he tries to pull again. It's outside leg stump, but he was further outside leg stump than the delivery. And again, he makes no contact, so it's all down to Jack Leach. England 317 for 9. They lead by 386. More tweets.
Leah says, good morning. He is
Morrow.
hoping for some batshit crazy twists and turns on this glorious day. Absolutely. Chris Sequire says, good to see better looking people than me on Facebook Live today. And good morning, Hendo.
Hello! Thank you.
I'm flattered. I wasn't expecting that.
Umpire Bell says, morning gorillas and Annie.
You're a gorilla, are you not?
I thought I was, but I must admit the oval looks absolutely gorgeous on a sunny morning.
It does.
England
it does.
expects, he says. And Leah says, gorilla cricket, you will hear from my cardiologist, Hendo. Were you shouting at... I think you were being a bit excited about a possible wicket in the second ball, weren't you?
Oh, I was. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I do occasionally get excited about cricket, and I must calm down. Defended square on the offside by Leach. And there is no run. I think he...
Oh,
What's
we
happened
got
there?
some...
Hang on. Leach has been warned for running down the pitch, even though he didn't actually take a run.
Really?
Seemingly. Maybe he set off down the middle of the pitch and then got sent back by Broad. In comes Lyon again, round the wicket, and he leaves this one as it turns away from him outside off stump.
Well, I was going to say earlier, would he, perhaps go and do a bit of gardening? There.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, there he
look
is.
there.
Oh, good stuff.
He went about...
Might
sort
go
of-
and do a bit of tapping down and accidentally take some divots out with playing some purely incidental golf shots. That is right down the middle of the
He
pitch.
did right
That's
down the middle of the
naughty.
pitch for about a third of the way. Now he goes back to this one. He started coming forward, went back, and then tried to cut, but made no contact. Well, I suppose the thing is, he's now in the Ben Stokes role, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's
And
the
we
man.
train them well at Somerset, you know.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. What, to
Yeah,
run
yeah.
down the pitch?
Yeah.
Right down the middle of the pitch. In comes Lyon again. Bowles pitches it on the line of leg stump. Oh, now there's a lot of indecision about whether they should go for a run. I'm not sure whether he ran down the middle of the pitch this time. But fortunately, they decided early enough that they wouldn't go through.
So if the batsman does keep on running down the middle after this ball,
In again. Oh, now that's popped off of a leading edge towards backward point.
They
As he
cut
tried
off
to
his
work
legs.
it.
well,
if
yeah.
he does that.
What can does the umpire have any recourse to anything other than keeping on warning him and
That's a very good point.
demerit points and fines and whatnot?
It's a
but
very good
Is there
point.
any in-game punishment? Because obviously the bowler, he gets warning and has to.
Yeah,
bugger
or
off,
maybe they'll
actually.
say you can't bowl. Lyon in again, and he plays this well on the front foot, even though the ball does turn a certain amount.
That's no problem for batsmen, though, is it?
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No,
Maybe
not really.
you say, maybe you have to... Oh.
Doing a 10 press ups.
Yes.
Bowl bat with your eyes closed for 6 balls.
Yes. I'd turn round.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that over was over far too
right,
quickly.
yes,
and
I've got
no, well, it was not
Blimey.
that. It's just that it means that Broad's going to have to face some more short bowling from Cummins.
Excellent.
Anyway, more tweets.
Can I say hello to some people on Crick Tracker?
can.
Shazzy Khan says super.
Hello.
Baramungai says wow.
I like to think that he's saying that about me.
Yeah.
I think he is.
I
yes,
think so.
yes,
I
yes.
almost inevitably.
I had some marriage proposals yesterday.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Did
yeah.
you?
Did you
Yeah.
accept any?
Well, I didn't. No.
I think you probably get away with it if you just don't tell your husband.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Anyway, Cummins is going to bowl 2 for 55 from 20 overs, and Bancroft is on the pitch.
Yeah, he was on the pitch a lot yesterday.
Does that mean we don't know who's off at the moment? Broad waits. And it's going to be a short ball, and he smashes it. Is there a man out there? There is, but it's going to go.
Yeah.
Is it? Yay! Over mid-wicket. I think it's Josh Hazelwood out there. He's a big man. But Broad has cleared it. He's off the mark with a 6. Excellent.
Since you came to bat, you sixty thing,
You just think,
miracles. Since you came out to bat, you sixty thing.
there's so much talent there for
Yeah.
Broad, and you just think he could have been so much of a better batsman.
The amount of times he gets a 6 and then he's out, then it's all on.
Yes.
He's never been the same since that
No, when
ding
it's
on the
got
helmet.
hit.
Yeah. It was that against South Africa, was it?
Yeah, but he was on the way down then. He
Yeah.
wasn't making the most of. I mean, when you saw him get that 160 against Pakistan, you thought, "Wow, he's a proper all-rounder."
But it's wonderful when he does get going, isn't it?
It
There's
is
nothing
fun.
better
It's
than
always
that.
fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's unorthodox. I mean, that one.
And they hate him as well.
Oh yes, and
Yeah.
it gets in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
core of the Australians. What's he going to get now? Is it going to be a full ball, or is it going to be another short one from Cummins? He's in, bowls. He steps back again, and he tries to flap that over the slips, but makes no contact. Bolts. We're having a look at this in super slow motion. He goes back deep in his crease, and he waits. He opens himself up,
Fantastic.
and deliberately hitting that up rather than trying to roll the wrists. And
Generous.
excellent. You mean he doesn't know how to roll the wrists? So England lead by 392. Broad has 6. Leach has 9. Looks like a man's coming out. In fact, everyone's going out the slips by the looks of it.
Hilarious.
Now, hang on. Where's that? Is he? He's got a fine leg. He has literally
That is
got a long stop.
A backstop.
He has got a long stop now.
That's amazing.
He's got a man out at deep backward square and a man at deep mid wicket. This is extraordinary.
It's an incredible field,
I
isn't
think
it?
Broad's about to attempt the ramp or something.
Well, now the thing is now that he can sort of just play normally, can't he?
Excellent.
And
Stuart
take
Broad
singles.
doesn't know normal.
That's
Here we
true.
go.
Short again, and he has another go at it, and he makes no contact. Well, I mean, the other thing about this is how many short balls is he allowed to bowl? I find this extraordinary.
Well, it's
Supposed to be two
Two,
and over,
yeah.
but that's 3 in a row.
Well, is it? The first one wasn't really over the shoulder, is it?
Well, I don't know. You see, I mean, I think that's a very thin margins, and I think it's quite a difficult thing to judge.
It is if he ducks.
Well, yeah. I feel like it's slightly intimidatory. I'm not quite. I'm not entirely happy with this.
Yeah, Broad wasn't happy either.
No, I
Bit
don't
of
think so.
gesticulating,
I mean,
wasn't it?
surely this has got to be pitched up a little bit. He's in again, bowls. It was a little bit shorter. He's gone for another smash. That's gone miles. That's gone miles in front of the Bedser stand. He hit it straighter than Labuschagne was at deep mid-wicket, and it's a second 6 of the over. This is fun. Very good stuff from Stuart Broad, who moves to 12. That's a big. Oh, it's not a big hit. I mean, that is the shortest part of the ground, but it's still a pretty big hit.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with it.
I'd be happy.
Mm.
I'd be happy. And the crowd are very happy with it. Joe Root is very happy with
Well,
it.
he
He's standing
doesn't
there.
look particularly happy.
Well, he is applauding him, and his hands are moving, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So now, what are they going to do? What are they going to do?
Bowl another short ball. That's what's
I would
gonna
imagine
happen.
so.
There
I
we
mean,
go.
that wasn't a short, that one.
No.
But it was still short. He's in, and that is the big
There we go.
Fuller delivery, which he runs back towards square leg and tries to carve over the covers, but makes no contact. And there is no run. 329 for 9. The lead is almost that magical 400 number. And
What,
we
400, you mean?
have 400.
Yeah.
And we have 1 ball to go in the over. Cummins has gone from 2 for 55 to 2 for 67 in the space of 2 big broad hits. He settles down and waits for the next delivery. Mind you, with Broad playing like that and running away to square leg, I wouldn't want to be at short leg, to be honest. He's in again, bowls, and he goes back to that and maybe just holds the bat inside the line of that one. It's allowed to pass through to Tim Payne. And that is the end of the over. 329 for 9.
Brian 001.
A man who provides us with beer on regular
The
occasions.
first Brian.
Hey,
No,
he
Brian.
says,
Brian.
he says, yet again, Australia has failed to clean up the tail enders. Now Australia will be heavily dependent upon Smith to scratch out a draw. In turn, Smith will rely on help from Labuschagne, but will be worried about Warner failing again. Yeah, I think that sums it up.
This could be the biggest troll David Warner's ever done, and failed all series just to
And then
unfurl a
gonna get
majestic
100, isn't he?
150.
he just has to, doesn't
Yeah,
he? You
he
just
does.
feel it. You just feel it. Lyon will continue. 24 overs, 3 for 69. He's bowling to another left-hander, and Jack Leach got 2 slips. He's in. He bowls. He comes forward and plays that very correctly with soft hands into the offside. There is no run.
Sandeep Goyal on Cricket Tracker says hello.
Hello.
Sandeep. Nice
Welcome
to
to
have you
you.
all joining us.
Indeed it is. Lyon in again. Oh, now he finds the outside edge here, but it's a thick one, and it goes down to ground before reaching the man of the second of those 2 slips. And the score remains 329 for 9. I do love a Miller Champion Hall bat. It's just Somerset special, isn't it?
These glasses.
Oh, well,
they-
there's some Jack Leach lookalikes in the crowd.
Absolutely.
I love it when we get a cult hero. Now he's gone for a big swing across the line. Has he got enough on that for it to plug?
No.
I don't think he has, and it's been taken at mid-wicket by Josh Hazlewood. That's a shame, because I was enjoying that little period from England. So Australia will need not quite 400. They will need 399 to win.
Oh,
England are all out for 329, and now it gets interesting, doesn't it?
Does.
sure does.
Good catch by Hazlewood running back there. Had to go a fair way round from mid-on, and took it quite nicely.
They did do a lot of dropping yesterday.
They did.
Apparently so. Yes, I saw that Smith. I mean, that one that
Oh, that's-
Smith
yeah.
dropped off Stokes. I mean, it went straight into his chest, and it was so fast.
Yeah, we won't talk about the super catch.
He did
No,
take a rather.
he
Although
didn't.
I
It was
saw
a
that
super
this
catch.
morning, and I thought
Just
he
stick
made,
in his hand.
didn't he
it?
make a
Yeah.
bit of a meal of it?
Yeah,
He sort of
it was
hung
right
in the-
to him.
Yeah, he hung in the air a little bit too long for my liking.
How do you hang in the air?
Well, he's one of these people who can do that sort of thing, isn't he? So that's it. 329. Burns made 20. Denley 94. Root 21. Stokes 67. Bairstow 14. What do we do about Johnny? Joss Butler 47. Sam Curran 17. Chris Woke 6. Jofra Archer out this morning for 3. Jack Leach out this morning for 9. Broad remains 12 not out from 9 deliveries, 2 sixes. 19 extras, 95.5 overs bowled. England 329 all out. Cummins 2 for 67. Hazlewood didn't get on the board. None for 57. Nathan Lyon ends up with 4 for 69. Siddle 2 for 52. Marsh 2 for 40. So 7 in the match for him. And Labuschagne 7 overs, 1 maiden, none for 26. Does that count as a collapse? Because we were 222 for 2. 329 all out. That's 8 for 107. I think it's another appalling performance from England. Absolutely dreadful. Should have been 500 ahead by now.
Yeah, let's get rid of them all.
Yeah. Change this team.
Yeah.
Well, the heavy
Yeah.
roller's coming out. The heavy roller is coming out, and
And I have
attempt to flatten
tweets.
the pitch. Yes, tell us more tweets.
Evil Scooter says, morning Gorilla Cricket.
Morning.
So are we hoping for a 5th and final day of the Test summer tomorrow, or desiring a sneaky day off to revel in the final throes of the London summer?
No, I want another day.
I want another day.
I'm
I
in
want another
tomorrow.
day.
I'm in tomorrow. I want another
I'm in
day.
tomorrow, and I want another day.
Yeah.
I want to sit at my computer at work and listen to it.
Yeah. Can you not watch it on your computer?
No,
got Sky Go
no,
on then?
I haven't got Sky Go on my computer at work. I do on my iPad that I take to work though.
So you could put the iPad
Yeah,
next to the
I do.
computer. So you watch that and you listen to us.
Yes,
Perfect.
of
perfect.
course.
Absolutely.
Well, I was
Come
hoping. I
on.
was hoping.
Mumat says, Gorilla Cricket, if we come away with this 2-2, surely Australia would be disappointed. Yeah. Not
Is there
only
something wrong with that?
not only have they got Smith, but also a better pace attack. Should have won 3-1. Well, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, they may still win 3-1, 399. We've seen what's happened at Headingley. I said to the Bear they could do it, and he said, yeah, but then he got 225 in the first innings. And then I said, yeah, but England at Headingley, if you remember, only got 67 in the first
Exactly.
innings. So,
Kiwi Callie says, Hendo, Gorilla Cricket, Hendo, you have so much sympathy from me for having to cover cricket on the other side of the world. It's not like I've been doing that for literally months.
well, hang on. You get the chance to just lie in bed and listen to us, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest about this, whereas we have to sit up and actually concentrate.
Yeah.
Oh, Ravina says, Hendo, you blasphemer, how dare you even think about not broadcasting an England international? Wash your mouth with sandpaper.
That's not the reply I wanted. It's not the reply that the Bear and I wanted, but there you go. Such is
But
life.
however, Leah says, we'll forgive you for not covering the meaningless T20 internationals in New Zealand, provided you promise to cover the Essex Somerset Championship Showdown. I think that's a good shout.
I
myself.
kind of wanted to go to that.
I'm going to.
Yeah,
that.
I bet you're going to that. I would
Yeah.
like to
Yeah.
go to that, but we may do that. I'll have to think about it. Depends if enough people want to do it.
And Gits and Gratz is asking the question I wanted to ask you on it. How was the Copacabana, Henry?
Oh, it's brilliant. I forgot how many Barry Manilow songs I knew.
How old is he now?
He's 76.
76.
Oh, he was wonderful. I mean, I'm not a fan, but it was a great atmosphere.
Now,
And-
I've heard that as you get older, your nose and your ears grow. Is that right?
Well, he certainly has. He has a huge nose. I mean, you see the nose coming on first.
Yes.
Is there a Barry Manilow attached to that?
Is that true? Why do your nose and ears grow when you get older?
Suddenly hair starts coming out of your ears, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Does that happen to women as well?
Hair coming out my ears.
Yeah.
Hasn't yet.
Because your ears are well hidden behind the
Yeah.
rest of your hair, aren't they? You see
Yeah.
that?
Yes. Actually, they sprout all over the place.
Yeah. It's in you see, I went to the bar. I went to this Turkish barber, not really knowing that he was a Turkish barber, a few months back. And he said, I wanted to have a shave.
Did he
and
flame your ears?
He flamed my ears.
Oh, I
He
love
flamed
that.
my nose. And I was watching the bloke
that-
before me, and I thought, I don't want that done.
Oh.
And I thought, I'll just have a little trim. Before I knew it,
He flamed
he
you.
flamed
Yeah.
me. Yes.
Hey, did he offer you something for the weekend?
No, because it was a Monday.
Would that have stopped you, Hender?
I don't know. But anyway, back to Manilow. He was brilliant. It was good fun. And he sang the Bermuda Triangle, which I'd forgotten about. I forgot about that song.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
we-
hated that song.
Yeah, but I mean, with my Bermuda connections, I sort of got into it.
Have you got Bermuda connection?
Well, I went to live there for 2 years.
Did you?
Yeah.
When was that?
Many, many years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
was it nice?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh.
Oh, it's gorgeous, gorgeous. But then I got home, and on the red button, it had it on the BBC again. And as I was trying to get to sleep, I thought, sort of lying on the sofa, I thought, I'll just watch this again. 'Cause
What,
you-
Barry Manilow again?
I watched him twice, yeah.
Wow.
I know, that it makes me worried that something has happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, never mind. But Chrissy Hind was on, she was good, and some bloke called Jack Savarotti.
Jack Savaretti.
Savaretti, was it? Who, I have to say, his last song was a complete rip-off of Barry White. And I'd much rather have seen Barry White, to be honest, talking of Barry's.
Well, loads of songs are rip-offs of old ones.
Yeah, but this was immense.
Blatant.
It was blatant Love Unlimited Orchestra played by the
Even
London.
Joel Wilson would have given it as a rip-off.
Absolutely. Joel Wilson would have not been happy. So, yeah, it was good fun. It's good fun. I recommend it, actually. It's a good night. Very good night.
Yeah.
But I
no,
don't-
no, it's fine.
You don't want to go?
No, I don't.
Well, I don't like going to sort of live concerts anymore because if they're big ones, you don't hear very well, you can't see very well.
Where was this?
This
where
was in Hyde
gig?
Park.
You're not
Oh,
in the
okay,
pit then. You're
No,
not in
no,
the
we were
mosh
well
pit.
back. Well, we weren't in the back. I mean, it was quite fun, and the sound was unbelievably good. I
But
couldn't believe how good
the main
the sound
problem
was.
with gigs in big places is that I hate sitting down. It just takes all the.
hate
if you-
sitting
No, at gigs. So if you go to like
Really?
the O2, yeah, it's just you want to.
I love
move
sitting
around.
down.
Oh my god.
You wanna sort of move around.
Well,
a
we
bit.
did. We got
Yeah,
out. We,
I haven't got much of my youth left, but I may have gone already. I don't know, but
well, we did have some garden chairs with us.
No, it hasn't, Tim.
We had garden chairs, but we did get up and dance. But there you go.
Anyway, look, I better go through a few
Yeah,
more
we don't want
tweets.
to talk about us.
Not Jim Reed says, if this happens to be all over in the wee hours while we're asleep in Australia,
Mm.
thanks again for the great coverage. Love your work.
Oh,
Thank you.
Good to
And if you
hear,
do
thank
love
you.
our work, I'm not saying to you in particular, but if in general you do love our work, to keep our work going, we have a lot of expenses. One of which is hiring this flat to do the program from, and even when we're not on air, which will be for a few weeks probably, apart from other things that we will do on YouTube and various places. This place still has to be paid for, even
Yeah.
when we're not here. So
we haven't found any synergies for empty flats yet. Have
no,
we?
no, exactly not. No, so we do need cash, and if you want to help us out, you can make a monthly donation via our Patreon fund, which is Patreon, patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket. And if you do actually, it's done in dollars. So if you donate more than $10 a month, you then go onto our Facebook Live feed where the names of all you wonderful donors goes round
Forever.
in a loop forever and ever. In fact, aliens visiting this country in about 20,000 years will still discover that.
Yeah.
And they will realise that Kiwi Kelly was a major supporter of Gorilla Cricket.
Yeah.
And I think that will
And
be
what more do you want?
well, it would be a great advance to civilization. I think.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, looks like we're gathering at the edge of the field in front of the Bedser stand. I'm not sure why we haven't actually entered the field, but strange thing, isn't it? The fielders always used to go out and then the batsmen would come out. These days it seems like the batsmen lead on the fielders. They're all out there waiting to get the nod. David Warner, could this be his moment? He's smiling at the moment. Will he be smiling in 10 minutes' time?
He's always smiling. He smiled when he was out.
Well, he may smile. I hope it's
Yeah.
ruefully though.
Yes.
Well, also
Yeah.
I settle for a rueful smile.
Rueful smiles,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Talking of when people go out, I've got a person at my club who, it's just a friendly cricket club, and he will not go onto the field until both umpires have gone out.
Quite right. Stickler.
Yes,
Absolute
an
stickler.
absolute
there we go, it's,
stickler. But it's
Dharma-
quite funny because everyone's wondering where he is.
It's Dharmasena holding it up.
Dharmasena, what was he up to?
Massive poo.
Thanks for that.
pleasure.
Well, he's on his way. And in fact, they're not out. The fielders are already going out almost in advance of them. Joe Root is so keen to get out there and wheedle out these Australians that he's... oh, no, he's gone now. They've got to have to go, I don't know, 20 yards onto the pitch and now have the huddle.
It's for the cameras.
Now,
Cameras love it.
who's giving the talk to the huddle today? Is it Joe Root or is it
Stokes.
Stokesy again? Well, we're not going to see because we're following... Oh, no, there we are. Hang on.
It's
No,
Root.
no, it's
Root's
Rooty.
Yeah.
And Stokesy is looking at him. He's nodding. Stokes is nodding his approval.
I'd love to know what you say.
Joe Root, actually.
My name's Joe
Root.
Actually, I'd like us to win. And
He's got very
Yeah,
large
two-
sunglasses. Those are
They are. They're,
huge lenses.
they're fashion statements.
That's
aren't
probably
they?
why.
That's why I don't know about them.
Well, I was going to say that's probably why he doesn't actually catch anything at slip these days.
No, those glasses are amazing. Have you ever put on those type
never-
of glasses? Oh my god, you can see. I could see if I wore one of those.
Oh right. Well, I've never worn sunglasses on the pitch, which I can understand why they do because it can be incredibly bright sometimes.
They're so clear, the sports ones.
Yeah, they are.
They're really good.
But I've certainly never batted in.
No, I think that would be a
That would
bit
look odd,
weird.
wouldn't
yeah.
it? Yeah. So David Warner, 2 and 8, 3 and 5, 61 and 0, 0 and 0 and 5. Those are his scores this summer, and this is his jingle.
He's quite good with a bat. He's got a stick in the start. He's short and he's fat. He's got a stick in the start. He's a bit of a twat. He's got a stick in the start. David Warner's got a stick in the start.
He's joined out there by a fellow left-hander in Marcus Harris.
The last time I saw Alice, he seemed to do
Dreamy, this isn't it? It's dreamy.
but with the band
Barry.
boys back batting, not sure if he will play.
I've not heard that one. I love that. That's great.
Isn't it? Well, Stuart Broad's going to bowl. He didn't get a wicket in the first innings, but he's got 19 in the series so far.
We've jingled him already.
We've jingled him.
He
can live without a jingle for once.
Get
3 slips in the gully, a backward point, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket and long leg. That is the field. And it looks like it's going to be Harris to take the first ball. And I presume he's round the wicket. He is round the wicket and he's edged that, has he? Did he get a little bit of glove or something on that down the leg side? Bairstow dived to his right, got a hand to it, but certainly couldn't hold on to it.
Not
And
Smith style, anyway.
No, and I...
not signalled. No.
Well, I'm waiting to see. I thought he got something on that. Ooh, I want to see what the umpire's given there. Because that may have been a chance. Ooh, it's difficult to
bit
tell.
glovey.
It could be glovey. It's certainly not thigh pad. His hands away from the bat. No, it's been given as a leg bye, presumably, or a bye even, yeah.
Fair enough.
So Australia are up and running, and Warner is just doing a bit of scratching outside the off stump and or down the pitch, and is now preparing himself. It's the last innings of a tough Ashes series, a tough summer, a great World Cup for David Warner, but not a very good Ashes. Can he make it count? Right at the last, in comes Broad from the pavilion end, round the wicket, and bowls outside the off stump, left alone by Warner. And there is no run.
Come on, Broady.
We got anyone on YouTube today, actually, out of interest? Are you on YouTube as well? Can you get to YouTube?
Oh, now you're asking me.
Technically proficient enough?
No.
I will tell you that last night at Barry Manilow, I was the only one who could get my camera to work. And people mock me for my technological
They don't. No.
ineptitude.
When you say camera, it's a camera phone.
Camera phone,
Oh,
yes,
right,
yes.
Everyone else is still pulling the material over
That's
their
right.
head saying, hold it there, Barry.
Say birdie. Oh, beauty from Broad.
Good stuff.
Has Warner fishing for that. It fizzed off the pitch away from the left-handed batsman. Angled in and then,
Ooh,
oh,
just
what a
bit of
beauty.
movement.
What a
Good
beauty
stuff.
that is. Just moved a little tiny bit too much to get the edge.
How many times has Broad had Warner this series so far?
Is it 5? I think it's 5.
Let's make
Didn't
it
get him in the
6.
first innings, did he? There was that slightly controversial wicket that Archer got right at the start.
Shadowgate.
Shadowgate, yes. Anyway, he's waiting now with his bat slightly aloft. He's turned it into the onside through square leg. He's going to get one. I think he's going to come back for the second. He's going to hurry back, in fact, and very easily done. A poor throw. And Broadie's not happy with whoever it was throwing that, because he says,
Taking the
keep the
shine
ball
off,
up,
yeah.
keep the ball up in the air. And that was really Besler diving away to his left on the half volley to try and stop that. And a bit of irritation there from Stuart Broad. Warner's to 2, Australia 3 for no wicket. They only need another 396 in the best part of 2 days. I don't know, I think if they stick in here, I still think there's a chance for Australia.
They
Yeah,
did
there
show
is.
the graphic before the list of highest fourth innings scores at the Oval, and there wasn't a lot over 300.
No.
No. Broad in again. Oh, he's had a go at that, has Warner. Beaten. Another beauty from Stuart Broad, who looks slightly quizzical as he walks back to his mark. But slightly scrambled seam, but he still managed to get it to go. You talk about going off the seam. Maybe it wasn't the seam that it went off there. It did.
Off the pitch, I think.
It's gone off the pitch, but it's.
Seaman pitch?
Well, seam is as in hitting the seam or hitting the just the normal part of the ball, but it still went away from the batsman, whatever it was.
It certainly did.
So it's very good. Very good start from Broadie. Final
Yeah.
ball of his over.
His pecker's still up, isn't
It
it?
certainly is. Here he comes in to Warner again. Warner goes back to this one that's angled into his pads and just pushes it up to mid-on. That is the end of the over. He gets a warm round of applause to Stuart Broad. Australia are 3 for no wickets. More tweets or various things?
Yes, I think this is YouTube.
It looks like it to me, yes.
So, I have.
Another marriage proposal?
I have. Love You Baby.
Oh, really?
Yes, from Raja Sika. Oh, I'm assuming it's me. It might be
No. Come
you
on.
guys. Manawa Hayat says hello, boys and nice lady.
Nice lady. How about hello, lady and nice boys?
And love from Pakistan. Katie Langan says hi.
Hello there.
Hi.
We know Katie.
Jeremy Henderson says Hendo got his camera to work.
Yay!
Hey.
Tall tales indeed. We need to see the evidence.
Well, if you go onto my Facebook page, you will see some of the
Hendo,
evidence.
just to check, did you try and take it? It wasn't an accidental selfie, was it? You didn't-
No, I didn't
Just
take
imagine
it.
go, check these out. Hendo, it's just you.
Yeah, no, that would be horrific for everybody. Jofra Archer, 6 wickets in the first innings, is going to open from the Vauxhall end. Of course, we've jingled him up already this morning as
We have.
well, and he has the lovely new red cherry in his hand, which he's tossing around a little bit at the moment, waiting for Marcus Harris to have got his
his act
guard.
together.
It's taken him a while to get it. He seems to be taking separate guards.
Time-wasting tactics already.
Ah.
Shameful.
Absolutely appalling. So we've got 3 slips in the gully, backward point, wide mid-off. Is Jason Roy? He's on for somebody, and he's round the wicket to Harris, and Harris leaves the ball outside the off stump. Now people talk about Joe Denley as England's opener, and okay, you might say he's 33 now. Is he the man to take to New Zealand and South Africa, or do we get someone new in like Sibley?
Yeah, we
But
had quite a lot of this.
There's a lot of talk about this, but I was going to say, looking at Marcus Harris's record, I mean, he's an opener. He's played 9 games. He's got 2 50s, whereas Denley's played, I think, 8 games and got 4 50s. So, and a high score of 94.
Denley certainly did quite a lot for his going to New Zealand.
Yes, I think so.
yesterday,
Although,
didn't
but yeah, you wonder whether you say, well, thank you, Joe, you've done a really good job,
he?
but
yeah.
we've got to look forward
Well, this
now.
is what we were saying
Yeah.
before he had the innings yesterday. But I don't know.
It's a tricky one. I think he'll
It
go
is a
probably.
tricky one because they should be trying Crawley and they should be trying Sibley.
Yeah.
Denley, you could argue, is getting on a bit.
Is he gonna
Are
be-
they gonna? I don't know.
I
I
said
don't know. He's done very well. Let's
Second
face
ball
it.
is left alone outside the stump as well. But I was going to say that, he's had a tough introduction to Test cricket.
He
Maybe he
certainly has.
deserves to play against. I'm not saying that Pakistan are a poorer side at all, but this is a fantastic attack, this Australian attack, and he's done reasonably well. This is steered to square leg by Harris, and there is no run. So maybe he deserves to have a chance to sort of cash in a little bit.
And he's
in
been
the
moved
winter.
around, hasn't he? He's
Yeah,
been
he has,
4
yeah.
and
Yeah.
1.
He plays and misses a lot, but I mean, this is top-class bowling that we've seen this summer. So I think
They're not bad, are they, Cummings and Hazelwood? They're all
and
right.
then there's Siddle, and then there's Stark, and then there's Lyon. Archer in, down the leg side, and Harris will get his first run as he turns this to long leg.
He was off the pitch quite a bit yesterday because of
Who?
injury. Harris, wasn't he?
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, because he dropped that
Yeah,
catch, didn't
yeah,
he, the
Webb.
previous night?
Webb.
Yeah. Oh, right, webbing.
Yeah.
4 for no wicket brings Warner down to face Archer for the first time.
I'm just going to do a quick tweet because I'm getting behind. Kunal Tolani says a successful review. Messi Jez was right. Payne has been switched for a ring in. Yeah, they haven't done a lot of successful reviews, have they?
No.
Imagine says, now that Broad is in, can we expect Leach to farm the strike? I bet that's a little bit
That
old.
was a-
Sorry
that is
about
a
that.
bit old.
Yeah.
Well, Leach is off the pitch at the moment. That seems to be. Maybe he's just not quite ready to come out. It's Archer is in. A full ball. Lovely delivery. Had Warner coming forward, and he nods his approval of that delivery. Says that was quite a good one. And he's not going to make you more liked, David. And people are talking about the fact that maybe this is, he's been disarmed a little bit by what's happened, and he's been trying to be too nice, and this is why he's lost the mongrel inside him. But, it may just be that he's going through a little rough patch against some good bowling. Faces up again. Archer once more in bowls. This is too wide, and he can leave it quite comfortably. It's the end of the over. It is 4 for no wickets.
Okay, Mogg says, how's the media there coping with the Matt Wade verbal abuse scandal? He has been quite... there was
Vocal?
a little bit... Yeah, a little
What,
bit...
yesterday?
Yeah,
What-
punchiness. Not punchiness, obviously.
Did we hear
but-
what he said?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kiwi Callie says, I actually don't care if you cover the New Zealand v England T20s or not. If New Zealand continue with their current selections, I won't be following those games.
What?
Roger Melly says, is this Jason Bourne's last chance to score runs? And Warner too. I don't remember a worse opening combination for Australia. Yes, he was suggesting yesterday that Jason Bourne and Harris look similar.
Quite similar.
Yeah.
Do they?
Messi just says, no, that's just replying. Ravinair says, here's a thought, save rent and sleep by doing the New Zealand T20s from Hendo's double bed. Gorillas in bed could be a great thing.
Well, that's a bit John Lennon-ish,
we
isn't it?
were thinking about doing Gorilla Blind Date yesterday. Sort of.
Have we got? We've done that before.
Have you?
Left alone outside the off stump by Harris.
It's actually pronounced blind today.
Yes, it is. Actually, we had some really good suggestions for. I can remember a couple of years ago for blind dates.
God.
So, not the individuals involved, but just names for it that were quite fun. Broad bowls, full ball this time up into the pads of Harris, who pushes this one up to mid-on, and there is no run.
How would Gorilla Blind Date work?
No idea.
So, what's your best feature? That question's number one. The bear.
It was-
Well, my crack, definitely.
It was in reference to the marriage proposals, I think.
Right.
very good, yeah.
Yes, we could go off on that tangent.
Very deep third man says 399 to win, 8 wickets in hand.
8 wickets in hand. How does that work?
Uh,
Anyway, Broad goes wider on the crease this time, a little bit shorter and a little bit wider, and left alone by Harris.
And this is saying that Harris and Warner are walking wickets.
Oh yes, well that's a fair point. They have been.
I'm
up till
guessing
now.
that's
Yeah,
what they're
yeah,
saying,
Sorry,
yeah.
I was missing the
Yeah.
subtlety there.
Yeah. Messi just says, morning all, good to see Hendo keeping up his record. 2 English wickets before I even arrive.
Yeah,
It's
Well
your
done,
fault.
absolutely, absolutely.
fault.
Yeah.
I know. If, they batted so well when I wasn't here yesterday.
They did actually.
I am the jinx. So Warner is at the non-striker's end, and Harris standing there with his back slightly aloft at the moment. Now waits for Broad, and this one squeezes off an outside edge towards gully stroke backward point, and there is no run.
Chris the Quiet says, for the first time in years I was recently offered something for the weekend at my local barber shop.
Seriously?
Not sure if I was looking particularly desperate or so badly in need of a haircut that I must be anticipating some action.
No, you're coming here, Bear. What time is it now? Okay, so it's only 12:30, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, are we? Okay. Well, I can't do 2:40s. I've got to leave at 12. No, I can't because I've got to get some sleep. I've only had 2 hours sleep again. Forward comes Harris. I'm going to be working till 1 o'clock tonight. beaten outside the off stump by Broad. I can't sleep in there and then go home, can I? Go to work, for goodness sake. I've got the car outside.
Look, you two, can you take
Hendo
your
has
August...
standards. Yeah, right.
So I'm off in a second then. Excellent, I get to eat my croissant.
Hooray.
So, Australia 4 without loss. Broad. Just about to finish his second over. He's conceded 2 runs. And he's continuing to bowl to Harris. He's been great against left-handers this summer. That's a beautiful drive, though. Slightly over-pitched, and he kept the face of the bat through the line of the ball. And that's gone more or less dead straight in front of the pavilion for 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There we go. Good stuff from Marcus Harris. And we're going to have a change.
Okay, I will move out.
You move.
It's
Be back in 20 minutes, though.
too many
20 minutes, yeah.
overs on a little couch, oh, and just like an old biddy, they need to stretch and slouch. It's been a few overs coming, but to the sofa, change gon' come, oh yes it is.
There we go. We have indeed had a change. Welcome the Bear for the first time today.
Good morning, Tim. Good morning,
yeah.
Hendo.
Good morning, good morning, 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 morning.
We've just had the first ball of Archer's next over, which was dealt with competently by Warner, I think. They're just showing some split screen action now of some
How
other
he's changed his
COD
stance
analysis. Yeah.
over the entirety of the series.
Pretty subtle, isn't it? It's pretty
Yeah.
subtle.
Apparently he's standing outside his leg stump now.
Yeah, they've
Okay.
picked 3 random balls from a 5-test series. There you go. Archer in again. That's a waft outside, not forward, not back, just aimed a hands-only cut at the ball, and that's through to Bairstow. There's Warner smiling ruefully, as I hoped he would already.
Well,
unfortunately, he's not out.
I put the rest of my money in my Betway account underneath, under the fall of the first wicket at 19.5, which is pretty skinny.
All £2.50 of that, Bear?
Well, all £10 of
Oh,
it.
there we go.
Devon Wade says, morning gorillas, 5:30 a.m. seems like as good a time as ever to crack open the first one of the day. He says,
Absolutely, I'm there with you.
hashtag off the mark.
I've got a long day. I think it's going to be booze laden.
And Archer in again. Warner forward, just taps it down to mid-off, and that is no run.
Other tweets that have been coming in. Rick Finley has said there's a target of 398 in Ashes history, which was lost by 251. Another of 400, which was lost by 171 runs, but never one of 399. So anything could happen.
Fantastic.
Which is wonderful. Messi Jez wonders what Chris the Choir looked like after a couple of days at Gorilla Towers, to which he replies, it wasn't the look that was the problem, it was the aroma that seeps into you after a while.
Oh, and Archer just spears that into his pads. Warner not really using his feet very well. It just balloons off the pad into no man's land, and no attempt for a run.
Matt Searle gives us the latest odds. England 1-6 on, or 6-1 on. The draw is 66-1, and Australia are 9-2. They were 8-1 yesterday.
9-2, chasing
9-2.
399. That's fucking
So they've come
skinny.
right in, haven't they?
Dear
From
me.
8-1. Warner to make 100 is at 8-1. Messi just says, Ode to Gorilla. Your personal bear odour for all your Gorilla blind dating needs.
Archer in again, and Warner connects with a hands-only cut this time. That's spanked very in front of Spare. That's gone through cover, in fact. So that's a good shot for one of these.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Just a nondescript length from Archer there, leaving Warner free to smack it through the vacant cover region.
Oh, it's worrying. Every time I see Warner play a good shot, I think this is the day.
Yeah, this is it.
This is the day.
Please don't be today.
Or maybe the 2 days.
I could do with them collapsing and Smith getting a duck for a change.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
Wouldn't
that would
that
be
be
so
hilarious?
Archer right-handed round the wicket again, and that's on Warner's pads. Just tucks it into the leg side. They take a quick single. Broad has a needless shot at the stumps. Butler doing the backing up, and that is a single.
Spicy Golden Duck says, good morning. As it's possibly the last day of the Gorilla cricket season, have the Gorillas been allowed to bring in board games today? Is that a thing? I didn't
Is
know
it?
that. You know,
Oh, I
bring-
suppose
That's
that-
what
at
happens at
school,
school these
yeah,
days.
yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Hey, you got kids, haven't you, Tim?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, they just all kids nowadays spend the last week of term just pissing about watching videos.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I do. I don't
what,
have to go to school.
what years are you in?
They're 8 and 5, so you're 4 and 1.
When they get to year 6, when they're leaving, they basically do their sacked at about February, and after that they do fuck all pretty much.
Yeah,
the
is
rest
that
of
when
the
I've got to cough up for these hoodies with all their names
year.
on
Oh
as well?
fucking hell! School uniform,
Ah.
200 quid. for
Well,
school
my
uniform.
kids don't have a school uniform. It's
No,
brilliant.
when they go to senior school.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's a nightmare, mate.
Homeschooling for them, I think. They'll be expert on cricket by the time they leave. So Broad in again round the wicket to Warner, and that's moving away nicely. Warner leaves it. Broad is apoplectic.
I think he nearly got one of those little feathers through from leaving his bat standing
Yeah.
there again, didn't he?
Chris Squire says, wasn't Gorilla Contacts once suggested as an additional service on the website? And Dr. O says, Gorilla Cricket keeping me sane on workday Sundays. Odds on there being a result in the match are now 750 to 1.
It must be.
Yeah, sorry, did I not say on? I meant to say on. Imagine says Marcus Harris has 7 stitches in the webbing of his left hand.
Yeah, that's right.
That
Yeah.
must hurt.
That'd be difficult to bat with.
Broad in again, leg side, just helped round the corner by Warner, down to deep backward square. There, you think about a second, but wisely nothing doing. Good throw in, that is a single.
Chris Squire says, suggestions please for what Gorilla Cricket should do with the large yellow marrows in the garden. Well, it's not really our garden. I mean, we could nick them, I suppose.
Well,
Yeah.
Halloween's actually could be a pseudo pumpkin.
It's a long, thin pumpkin.
Yeah.
You could have marrows and...
I don't like marrows anyway.
Oh, marrows are great. What do you mean, Bear? Oh, it's vegetable, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I'd struggle to be a vegetarian.
I could eat a whole marrow.
So
in one
Marcus
go.
Harris on strike now. Broad third ball, the over, come right arm over round the wicket, and that's just knocked down to cover, and there is no run.
Evil Scooter says, with the major tennis done and the Vuelta a España finishing tonight, I can finally start getting moderate amounts of sleep at night again. I won't know what to do with myself. Well, it'd be sleep, basically. That's what to do with
You can
yourself.
listen to the entire Ashes replay.
You
It'll
can,
be
absolutely.
going for the next 8 weeks or so on our site. Occasionally interspersed with Gorilla South Africa. Obviously going to be doing India South Africa, and that'll be on our player when they're on air. When
Broad
we're
in
not.
again round the wicket. Oh, and that's just stuck in the pitch slightly and gone on a double bounce through
Kept
to
a bit low, didn't
Bairstow. Yeah, that's good news. They won't mind that at all.
No, not at all.
Harris now his turn to smile ruefully. And the replay here, yes, no, you're right in the previous ball there, that Warner does have this habit of leaving but then dangling the back end of the bat. He takes away far too late, just nibbling it through to the keeper.
I'm told at 14 for no wicket, Australia have now recorded their highest opening partnership of this Ashes series.
Really?
That's amazing scenes from TV umpire.
That's fantastic. Broad in again over the wicket, slightly wide of the crease, but that goes into the pads, and that is tucked away through cover region off the pads.
Cover?
Mid-wicket, sorry, getting my sides. One of these.
One of these. Come
2
on.
plus
There we
2
go.
is on man. 2 plus 2 is on man.
Harmless half, easily dispatched there by Marcus Harris. Broad straying onto the pads with the wrong line, and that's a freebie pretty much.
I'm officially worried already. Ayush Unal says on Quick Tracker, or in fact YouTube, can Warner create history? He might well do. And says that Warner and Steve Smith hundreds are needed to chase this total. And George Pope says Joe Den needs to take a wicket worth a punt.
Oh, what a ball! Broad in again, slightly wide of the crease, beats the tentative poke of Marcus Harris,
Saves my
and
money.
the off stump has gone halfway back to Johnny Bairstow. There are raised points in the crowd, and that is a cracking delivery, just as Hendo's getting worried.
Yep.
There we go. Then, that's halfway up middle stump, and it's cartwheeled straight back on the line. Broad flashes the fingers of celebration at Marcus Harris, gives him good stare, subtle send off, and that's 18 for 1. So Harris gone for 9. A disappointing series for him, I think.
Very disappointing since he's come in for
Indeed.
Usman Khawaja.
And he did. Well, it was an odd drop, Khawaja. I thought there were other
Having
people
been
who deserved to go
captain
before.
in the warm up in the mid-series
I know.
county game, and then out the side. Very strange.
I mean, at least he got into the mid-20s, even though he gave his wicket away.
Exactly.
Everyone else had done so little. But they celebrated their highest ever partnership opening for
By
this
getting
Ashes
out.
by getting
Well
out,
done.
which is very good of them. Donated that wicket, and fortunately, I had under 19.5 for the full of the first wicket.
Ooh, lucky bear.
Well done. There we go.
Apparently it's Cricket Stuff Day today, so not only have we got T20s in where was it we were talking about earlier? I can't remember now. But we've also got Ireland v the Netherlands, Malahide, the wonderful Malahide, and of course it was South Africa, wasn't it? Was the other one that's going on today. So it is a great day for cricket. Rabinair just before that wicket said this stand is now looking ominous, and you know, so there's still a few of us out there still worrying about.
It's like commentator's blessing, the opposite of commentator's curse. So next man in is one of the stars of the series, right? Marnus Labuschagne, who will be jingled up as I get rid of my guitar.
Something has gone wrong. Take a toke of mellow smoke, guzzle something strong. Hopefully by now you cannot feel much pain as I bring the news that it's Marnus Labuschagne.
That was the last ball of Stuart Broad's over, so Labuschagne is not on strike yet. Instead, Archer came in and just cramped Warner for room. Archer in again for the second, and that's moved away off the pitch and swung after the bat. Warner left holding the pose again, wondering how he didn't get a nibble on that.
Now, I'll tell you, I had a slice of luck yesterday. Norwich beat
Man City.
Man City.
Fantastic.
And I said to Rob Sutton before the game, I said, you know what, the odds here, 22-1, it was a 2-horse race.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't bet on that. But then when they were 1-0 up, they were still 15-2. So I thought, well, sod that, they're 1-0 up.
Well,
if they can
I suppose
park the bus.
After this ball, so Archer right arm around the wicket, and that is a thick edge. Went to ground pretty quickly, but that's in the vacant fourth slip region between third slip and gully for one of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh wow! I suppose what we've got to remember is that odds are a reflection of market movement rather than actual.
Well, exactly, but
odds,
instead of
aren't they?
15-2 when they're 1-0 up, you thought, fuck it. So I put a couple of quid on it.
Yeah,
They ended up winning.
there we go. Good stuff.
On
Always worth a quid, isn't it? That odds.
On YouTube, Marta Horry says, just think how good it would be for two cricket tradics to meet on the Gorilla Match app.
Archer and again another thick edge, but this time goes on a couple of bounces to the hands of Gully. Joss Butler diving there.
William Boeing says, Marcus out, Aussie will win no doubt. And Shailesh Srivastav says, Australia win the match 100%.
Well, put your money where your mouth is, frankly, and
yeah,
and you'll be poorer at the end.
probably. It's good over this so far from Archer, I think.
Absolutely probing, all sorts of thick edges all over the place. So Archer in again, right arm round the wicket. I've got a bear in the way, but there we go. It's gone through to the keeper. Warner swaying out of the way of a moderately nasty bouncer, but nothing too bad there. And the score is still 22-1 in pursuit of I hope, notional target of 399. But the wonders of cricket, you never know what's going to happen next.
I'm hoping at some stage today, says Matt Searle, that we'll hear the Gorilla Ashes theme tune instead of the normal one. I'm sure that could be arranged. And Leah says, I'll come back to it.
Archer in again. And it's just cramped Warner for room there. It stayed a bit low off the pitch, and Warner, trying to flick off the pads, ended up attempting a sort of mid-air paddle pull. And Archer. Archer thinks no.
No,
thought about the review.
I think he
got a little nibble on it.
Yeah, he thought he was signaling gloves, and it was a bit high.
Archer getting a bit overexcited there. Anyway, that was good over from Archer. Was that maiden potentially?
No, because it went before, didn't it? That one through the slip.
Yeah, so Archer, none for 10 off 3 overs, but cranking up the pace slowly, I think. His first over was somewhat pedestrian by professional standards. Obviously, I'd been all over the place, and my stumps all cartwheeling to the boundary. I thought they were re-showing his, now it's the World Cup, of course, his ball that went off the bails and for 6. But no, this is looking at David Warner's position here. And he looks annoying from side on as well. Could have thought.
I think there was a time when he was trying to bat a long way outside his crease. I'm not sure whether he got warned about that, because there is this thing now, isn't there, with batsmen sort of creating a little bit of rough by where they stand.
I suppose too far a crease, and it's just you've got literally no time to react to the ball. It's a third of a second anyway you take to react, but that would be far too difficult. Anyway, Stuart Broad's back on. Now here's Marnus Labuschagne for having watched that over from the other end. He's now here to add to what's been a pretty impressive series so far. Well, a very impressive series. Him and Smith have been the mainstays and often getting them out of trouble. Can he dig them out of, or rather stop them getting into a serious hole today? 22 for 1, another early wicket, which has been a feature of the series so far, in pursuit of 399, a tall order on any ground, let alone this. So Stuart Broad in, right arm over the wicket. Marnus Labuschagne lets it go, and it's one of the ones that just nips back in, and we won't see how close it was to the stump until the replay, as Marnus thought he had the stumps covered. In the end did, but you never know how far those can nip back in off the pitch. Marnus Labuschagne's got bubble gum.
Oh, he's had it all series.
There we go.
Yeah, he's been doing that.
Hubba.
Interesting field he's got here. He's taken a slip out, so he's only got the 2 slips in the gully. He's got
interesting.
a short square leg, and then he's got a man at another shortish square leg almost behind him.
Yeah. Broad in again over the wicket. Full. Labuschagne punched it down the pitch, and it's beaten Archer's dive at mid-off, and that's going to roll all the way to boundary for one of these.
Sorry.
That's
I
all
was
right.
doing stuff in here.
I know.
Some tweets. The India-South Africa game, says Lennox Lear, is going to be played in the most beautiful ground on the planet, Hendo, one in which the Dalai Lama once watched and matched His Holiness watching His Coliness, one would hope. I'm guessing that's that's Dharamsala, isn't it? Probably at the bottom of the Himalayas. And Roger Melley says, Warren's got level figures. That's Factor's record.
Broad in again, right arm over the wicket, and that's on the pads. Freebie for Marnus, who tucks it away. I think that's going to Jack Leach. He's labouring, but is he going to make it? He does, just before the boundary. Flings the ball back in, and that's going to be 3 runs for Marnus Labuschagne.
Yep.
7 off 3 balls now.
He's tremendous off his legs, actually. Labuschagne, he doesn't miss out there ever.
As they show a replay of Archer getting him LBW on the pads as he missed.
True, that was a straighter one, but he's if you don't get it right, if it's up there.
Exactly.
The one that got him was a little bit shorter.
Even Steve Smith misses straight ones on the pads sometimes, as we
every once in a while.
So here's Labuschagne series: 59 at Lords, 74 and 8 at Headingley, 67 and 11 at Old Trafford, 48 and 7. He's on a downward curve. Surely this is his peak now this innings.
You'd hope so.
Yeah, Stuart Broad runs in, right arm over, around the wicket to the left hand.
And he's out! Oh, yes.
Another testing ball, perhaps slightly off the pitch, thickish edge once again, but this time safely into the hands of second or third slip, and we'll see that in a minute. And there's that rueful smile I wanted to see. He's chuntering away to somebody about something, but who gives a flying fuck, frankly?
It's Davey Warner. This is the last time we'll see him today, so this is what we're saying to
Rory
you.
Burns,
Fuck off! Just fuck off!
Goodbye, Davey.
Bye, Davey. Yeah.
I think the interesting thing there, though, was it was a good ball, and he played hard-handedly at it, and the fact that Rory Burns, have you seen, he's good in the slips, isn't he? And he went right across Ben Stokes. It's not that Ben Stokes isn't good, but maybe he thought he was standing next to Joe. He might have thought he was standing next to Joe Root, so he thought he'd better take
you never know.
take the...
He's a good slipper.
Yep, 2 yes, that catch
that
yesterday.
Catch yesterday was stunning.
Amazing.
No, it wasn't yesterday. It was the day before. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was the day before, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was right at the end of the day before, and it was last weekend. That was a stunning catch, that
Indeed.
one.
Let me get through a few tweets. We've got a few coming in. With the pretty poor mistakes made by umpires and captains alike this series, says the King of Wessex, can you foresee a time, perhaps long into the future, where all appeals are referred to third umpires in a much quicker and automated process? I would say yes, I can foresee that, absolutely. Not sure I'd like it, but I can definitely see it. Etiak says, given that you guys have been on air virtually non-stop for 4 months, and yet we're still a week away from the T20 finals day, have you completely lost track of the passing of time yet? Somehow feels simultaneously like mid-August and mid-October. It does.
Well, is that Abhishek?
No, that's Etiak.
Etiak. Well, Etiak, you know what? For all that, thank you for saying that. And you're... it's very true. We have virtually been on air for fucking 4 months, constant, and therefore people go to patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket.
Indeed.
Help us out.
Show your appreciation.
Show your appreciation. We're going to carry on.
Absolutely. Here's some bloke called Steve Smith.
Oh, this will be interesting.
Well, this will be interesting, won't it? I'm going to go under again for whatever his lowest score is offer me. Let's give him.
Well, it's 80 now rather than 82, isn't his lowest score?
Well, no, yeah, but the spread they give you at the bookies is massive, and he still never fucking fails. So anyway, I'm going to try it again today.
You know Steve Smith's inevitable. He treats the fielders like they're not really there. He hits the ball in the air across the boundary line. He ain't going nowhere.
No, he's never going anywhere.
So Broad just slightly short, and Steve Smith just knocks it down into the pitch. No run. Survived the first ball, and he'll probably survive the next 250 balls as well. Steve Smith.
Was that Grubby who arrived just now?
No, it was Rob.
Oh, it was Rob, okay.
He got here earlier than he thought he was.
Someone can come and take over for me at the end of this over.
So Stuart Broad again, right arm over to Steve Smith. And Steve Smith again with his open-chested drives, but that goes straight to extra cover, and there is no run.
There we are, 29 for 2. It's time for me to take my leave. It's been great fun, if sometimes quite hard work this summer. If I'm not back tomorrow...
You don't like hard work, do you?
I don't like hard work. If I'm not back tomorrow, it's been good to broadcast to you and have your comradeship through the summer. And if I'm not back tomorrow, I'll be back, I don't know, sometime in November. Anyone can take over. I don't mind. Whoever's not eating. All right,
okay,
send in the Rob.
Yeah.
Okay, goodbye everyone.
Right, I'm going under 40 and a half runs. I'm getting Steve Smith's not getting a 50 today. Evens at 40 and a half. I'm going to have a go at that. What do you
So
want?
we have a minor change here. Hendo takes his leave. Hope to see him back tomorrow. Or, well, in a way I hope not, because that means England will have won. But if we do, we look forward to speaking tomorrow. And welcome, Rob. Hello.
Good morning. Morning, everybody.
Got my 15-2 on Norwich yesterday.
Did you? Very
Yes.
good. Very good. I was sort of following that on once I left here yesterday. And
I ended up
what an unbelievable win that was.
I ended up watching the end of it here. It was hilarious.
Let's be Avenue, as Delia would say. So Archer with the ball in his hand, starting his fourth over, 0-10 off first three. Marcus Labuschagne on strike. Archer over the wicket, and that swing after the passing the batsman again, but no problem for Labuschagne to just leave outside off on line. Any tweets rolling in now?
We've got a couple coming in. Very deep third man says, "Would you be happy with a 2-all Ashes?" That's an English perspective.
Having lost the toss 4 times, yes.
Yeah, well, I would do. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were talking. We talked about this at length over the last couple of days, and at the end of the last test. Anyone who says
Archer in again, same ball, same result, left outside off, no run.
that this test doesn't matter is a fucking fool. I mean,
Yeah,
they
every test
haven't
matters.
won on English soil since 2001. If they win today, they'd have broken that hoodoo. If they don't, they still haven't won on
Exactly.
English soil. It's a drawn series.
For the players as well. I mean, yeah, you think about it, you get so few tests in your time. You know, you think about people.
You don't want to lose
like
a series.
Simon Jones only had 17 tests in his whole career. I mean, obviously that was ended by injury, but you know, these players never know when it might be over.
Yeah.
They'll enjoy the ride every single game.
See you later, Hendo.
See you, bye-bye, Hendo.
Go and get some rough sleep.
Archer again on the pads this time. Marcus Labuschagne tucks it off there, but there's a man deep on the leg side, and they'll just pick up a single for that.
I think also, given the focus on white ball in England over the last few years, with the World Cup was the priority this summer. They won that, and a 2-all Ashes. I think if you'd have offered us that in May, I think we'd have taken
We'd have taken it, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I said that I think the World Cup win was more important than the Ashes.
I think
which
so
is
too.
a hard thing to say,
Yeah.
but
Well, yeah.
I think it's definitely true. I think it's
Indeed.
a hoodoo that's been holding over our heads since the 70s. We failed 3 times in a final to get it out of the way finally.
So, Archer and Smith resume hostilities, and that was swung quite markedly, but just, well, via the pads of Steve Smith down to the fine leg boundary for leg one of these.
Leg bowling. That's handy for my bet.
Yeah,
actually.
off the hip region. Yeah.
Still got 40 runs to play with.
Yeah. So now 34 for 2. Maybe preload the bounce jingle here as Archer comes in again, and that's full though. Steve Smith, and he's into his exaggerated post-impact shenanigans once again as he turns his back on Archer and flaps his bat somewhere in the region of square leg.
I tried bowling.
Knobber.
I tried bowling 4 Yorkers at him. He's only faced 4 balls. Well,
So
the rest of the over.
Just looking at Steve Smith's stats again, clearly on a downward curve. Only 82 and 80 in the last 2 innings. The stats, they do not lie. So Jofra Archer again. Is it time for a bouncer? No, it's full again, and Steve Smith drives imperiously through extra cover, open chested, just flinging the hands through the ball. Stuart Broad left, scrabbling in the dirt for one of these.
I'm looking
Yeah, great shot again. We've come to see that so much this series, so much. And minimal foot movement, just throws the hands with the line through the ball. He's got such a good eye, he's in such a good foot moment, he can get away with it.
We've got plenty of tweets coming in on the David Warner dismissal.
Uh-huh.
Roger Melly says, Warner caught behind off Broad. Fuck me, I never saw that coming. Mogg says, my tears for Davy Warner flow. Honey Badger Cricket, Little Stewart with his bunny.
Yes. Honey Badger, I presume that's our man Jim Birchall in...
And Grubby says, my friend Steve tells me Smith's never scored a fourth innings ton.
Well, there we go.
Right, well, there you go.
There you go.
I was like to say to Jim, congrats on your new job at the Times.
Oh, very good.
In New Zealand.
Yeah.
I don't know what sort of paper that is, but here you go.
Not a Murdoch.
No, I'm going to go into there. Oh, okay.
I'll sling my hook in a minute. At the end of the over, I will be off to replaced by Annie. Or replaced in this seat by Bear, and Annie will go into the
well, give it another 10 minutes, actually.
Yeah.
Come in at 20 past.
Yeah,
and then you can get off, and then we'll go through to lunch. And
sounds good.
And then we'll figure things out after lunch.
Stuart brought in. Labuschagne with a touch of the Smiths there, exaggeratedly leaving after the ball had passed him, and there was no run. So 38 for 2. They are approximately a tenth of their way to their target, with 2 down already.
Little targets, as
one
always says.
Once again,
one run. Do it in singles, boys.
Once again, this is the partnership to break, isn't it? Get through this one.
If this partnership is broken before lunch, this is over quite early today. I think,
I think so. Yeah.
So as Hendo pointed out, we've got a funny little field again for Labuschagne. There's a short and leg size ball comes in again. Again, just no movement. Marnus can leave that online on about 6th stump. You've got short leg catching, then someone short mid-wicket, almost behind him, then someone at very wide mid-on. So there's a little arc of players all waiting to gobble up anything that goes slightly wrong off Labuschagne's pads. Maybe they think it was going to a bit of variable bounce, maybe a leading edge coming. Who knows? Who knows what Joe Root is thinking behind those enormously large sunglasses he is wearing. Anyway, Stuart brought in again, and that's on the stumps this time. Labuschagne fully in behind it, just knocked it down to mid-off, and there is no run.
TV umpire says, who would be good options if Harris/Warner were to be dropped? Surely not Joe Burns all over again.
Is Matt Renshaw doing anything at the moment? Anyone know?
He scored some runs again. I think he went out of form, came back into form, had a little run again, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't watch the Sheffield Shield or followed it, so I can't couldn't really comment apart from the ones who played over here, to be honest.
Brought in again, and that's cutting back in again. Pause for thought for Labuschagne, leaving it, but you never know when one of those might just tickle the top of your off stump and knock the bails off.
They do. The one thing about Australia is that they rotate between. I suppose they don't have as many sides to choose from, but I mean, they've gone between Renshaw, Burns, Harris, and at one point or another, some of them have had form.
Khawaja's tried opening at some point.
Khawaja's tried opening. I guess at home they're all pretty strong. It's just it's finding people to bat away.
They might well give Bancroft another shot.
Absolutely, yeah. Brought in again, right arm over, and so that's on the pads, but too far down leg side. But that'll only be a single. Fine leg is crossed. That's Sam Curran flinging the ball back in. Labuschagne moves on to 9 runs off 11 balls. Brings Steve Smith back on strike for one final ball.
Senior Brain Damage has tweeted us to say, Warn on commentary, Warner, he's got a big score in him, he'll get that today. 2 balls later, I think it was.
And he's still constipated with that big score, just can't get it out.
11 was a big score for David Warner
in
this series, though. So
Warner
is
double figures.
I think it was the second highest score of the tournament.
Again,
series.
and that's some prodigious swing again. Started outside off, but went past the pads and down. And Bairstow took a good running take down the leg side. Sam Curran is loosening the shoulders, and he will surely be on soon, perhaps in place of Broad, who bowled through.
That was only the second time he got to double figures, wasn't it?
Yeah. What a shame.
Yeah. Well said.
Wiggy is with us. Who
all
says,
right, Wiggy.
We go.
Okay, now those two are out, the real game begins. Please get Smith out for less than 50 at least once in the series.
Well, I'm hoping less than 40.
Yes, if you'd be matching the Bears' investments, should we say?
Max C says, I think the elite honesty sessions are messing with Warner's head.
Yeah, they probably are.
Yeah.
He's not into that deal.
So Australia needs 360 further runs to win. from their current position of 39 for 2. Here is Sam Curran, as previously advertised, with his what looks unthreatening left arm swing, but actually threatens quite a lot. He's 11 matches in now.
Sam Curran. What's his distinguishing feature? Sam Curran. His dad's from Zimbabwe. Sam Curran. And he's beloved by Liz Yates. Sam Curran.
Yes, Sam Curran 11 matches into his Test career, 21 wickets at 27 and a bit so far, which is impressive.
Yeah, he's not bad.
No,
he's
he
competitive.
Sam Curran left arm over the wicket, shaping slightly back into Labuschagne, who just knocks it down, and there's no run. No, the thing about Sam Curran is it's his intensity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you see Tom Curran when he came to Surrey? Said if you think I'm good, wait to see my brother. And they saw him in practice and thought, well, he's good, but there's not perhaps much about him. Put him in a match situation, and it's a whole different kettle of fish. He is super competitive, apparently.
Yeah. No, it's good, you know.
Ben Stokes off the field at the moment, hobnobbing with the Australian bench. Curran in again, hint of movement. Labuschagne drives out to cover, and there is no run again.
Man of the series against India last year. I think that's
Absolutely.
sort of quietly been forgotten
By
the selectors, to be honest.
Forgotten the next series, wasn't
Well,
it?
it was very strange in the last test where Overton got picked above Curran. Curran had been in the squad the entire summer.
Indeed. Well, we've raised the selectors. Ed Smith, were you surprised when he named an unchanged side for this test? Or do you think he's desperately trying to make one of his picks come good and say, haha, look, it worked, haha?
Well, there's a big story about Denley, wasn't it? He was one of his picks and how he's worked this morning in the Guardian. But
gutting. Here's Sam Curran again, as on the pads, pitching outside leg, a strangled appeal from the slips. That will be a leg by.
I wasn't as bothered as the fact that Roy was named in the squad was probably the only thing I would have questioned from that. But
you wonder what Ollie Pope has to do.
Exactly.
I thought he was injured, Ollie Pope.
Is he injured again? He was back in for... He's been playing for Surrey. He scored a double ton just before the last test.
I thought he got injured after that.
I don't know. So
yeah, it's weird if you're going to choose Roy in the squad, but you know you're not going to pick him. There's no point.
Yeah, that's just.
He's played 4 games. If he's not playing, he shouldn't be in the squad.
Throwing shade at Surrey.
Yeah.
So here's Curran Smith now on strike, and that's a hint of movement again. Smith, similar to Labuschagne for a couple of balls ago, slaps straight to cover.
He's fidgety this morning.
Roy is on the field. In fact, Stokes, as we said, is off having a chit chat with the Australian bench. General bants going on there. He's fidgeting already, isn't he? He's getting annoyed with himself, the perfectionist knobber he is.
King of Wessex says, thanks Hendo, #legend. I've got time for this one from Messi Jez has tagged us in this one from Hypercaust. The average opening partnerships in the women's Ashes was 12.06.
Oh, and that's got through. That was a full ball that Steve Smith has aimed an on-drive at. And for the second time in the last few overs, Archer's dived over the ball somewhat, and that's gone for one of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You can swing all you like, but you can't bowl that length to Steve Smith because that's only going to go one place, and that's straight down the ground past Joff for Archer. There we go.
And to finish off that tweet, so the women's Ashes, the opening partnerships averaged 12.06, and in the men's Ashes it was 12.55.
Oof. Not much different.
No, indeed.
Well, England got a 50 partnership for the opening wicket yesterday. That's unheard of.
Curran finishing off his first over, and that's holding its line past Steve Smith, but he just taps it down to the cover region, and that will be no run. 0 for 5 from Sam Curran's first over. Labuschagne on 10 not out. Steve Smith 8 from 9 balls.
Stephen is with us. He says, Guerrilla cricket is the finder of the winter for mine. Have a tenner. Only New Zealand dollars mine, but come 31st of October will be worth £1 million and have the purchasing power of a half-used turnip.
Excellent. We will also be taking the new currency in November of eggs and mud.
Brine or Bryn 001. I assume he is Australian because he says, waiting now to hear the bullshit excuses the Australian selectors will be using to justify Warner's inclusion after this 7th dismissal by Broad.
7th?
It'll be a home test series, won't it, or something? His home record's amazing.
Yeah. Who's due in Australia?
New Zealand.
Winter. New Zealand,
yeah.
A trans-Tasman tussle. Fantastic stuff. So Broad to continue. In fact, he comes in over the wicket, and that's aimed at the stumps, but no problem for Labuschagne just to get fully in behind it, knock it down to mid-on for no run.
And Matt Searle also talking about the average opening partnership across both teams being 12.55, and that apparently is the lowest ever in a 5-match series.
Wow.
That's a great stat.
That is a fantastic stat.
Yeah, it's been pretty poor. Openers have been
Well,
substandard.
it's no surprise. I saw it coming. I mean, before the series,
Yeah.
I said,
mean,
and many
Rory-
other people said this is going to be dominated by the ball, low scores, and it's going to be thrilling, and it has been. And he brought in again. That's down the leg side. No problem for Labuschagne. Just watch it go. Several sets of stumps past.
I mean, yesterday it was telling people, saying we were asking for people's all-time, Ashes 11, wasn't it? And it was basically Denley and Burns were opening.
Sorry,
with Labuschagne and Smith,
Yeah.
the top four
So
was
the top
nailed in
four,
every
yeah,
team
every
we
team,
had.
yeah, pretty
No,
much.
I was doing there was the little BBC widget that did this as well, and I was. If it let me, I would have picked someone who's not an opener at opener. That's how poor it's been. Anyway, here's Broad in again, right arm over the wicket, and that looked a bit top edgy for a while, but no, it's safely down. A pull behind square from Marnus Labuschagne for a single, as Sam Curran does the fielding.
Chris Sequire is with us. Warner is averaging 9.5 for the series. Taking out his score of 61 leaves 34 in his other 9 innings. Figures that would embarrass a tail ender.
Absolutely.
And that's basically 3.
That is awful.
Just
I think it was. I've seen it on here somewhere. 3.78.
Wow.
If you take it, that was Headingley, wasn't it? I think he got that. That's 60.
Broad in again. And and that's prodigious swing again, which Smith, that's either pad or bat. If that's bat, that's an extraordinary shot. He's managed to.
Well, if it's not, it's pad. It's a big LBW.
He's managed to flamingo flick that off his pads just in front of the stumps down to fine leg. That's. Oh yeah, he's just glanced at that. That's a really good shot.
2, 3, 4.
Consider, Broad's upset and happy both at the same time about that. That was a great in swing there. Smith, something to think about for him. 12 runs now off 10 balls with all in 4s, I believe. So what can Broad do in the last 2 balls? 2 for 23 this morning. He's been bowling well. His tail's up. He's at the top of the mark again. In he comes. Right arm over. And that's swinging gently in again. Oh, and it was driven punchily back down. Broad just got a couple of fingers on it as he shakes them now. Labuschagne was out of his ground, but no danger there, I think.
Thanks. We're going to have a switcheroo at the end of this.
I'm going to.
Do you want to stay there, Rob? Or do you want to come over here?
I'm happy to stay here.
Okay, you stay there.
The jingles.
Either
I'm
way,
going to nip in there.
I'm going to
Annie's going to come over here.
disapparate into the green room, and probably that's it for today for me.
Yeah.
So if there's play tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow. Although, given the current state of the ball in the Australian batting, I very much doubt it.
Thank you very much.
So 1 ball left. There's just retrieving the ball from whatever pint glass it ended up in the front row of that stand down there.
They sort of give out. They're like jug things at the Oval. Because I went for
yeah.
I went for a T20 game. They're not the usual pint
No,
glass. They've got a handle.
The
and everything.
handles go. They're the ones that tessellate, so that you can't form your fun beer snakes anymore.
Typical Surrey.
The massive killjoys. Anyway, here's Broad for the last time this over, and that's a hint of in movement again, flirting perhaps with off stump, but Smith had it covered with his pads, and that's the end of the over. I shall leave you now. Australia 49 for 2.
I'll rattle through some tweets while we change over. Greenie. Hi ladies and gents, first time listener on holiday in Turkey, good to have you with us. Great banter and stuff, but can you please refrain from the Norwich result? I'm a City fan. I think you've had enough joy over the years to take one defeat, mate. Mojo says, I think David Warner is a home bully. I think that was probably right there. Broad's figures, Broad has 7 for 35 against Warner in the series. Gus Somerville, for the next test series I expect we'll bring in either Joe Burns or Renshaw for Harris, but keep Warner given it will be in Australia. I think that was sort of what we were saying in the last over about the fact that Warner will stay in the team because it's in Australia.
Indeed. First ball of the next over, Sammy Curran bowls, and it's clipped by Marnus Labuschagne out to mid-wicket, and there ain't no run.
Now Knackle is at the game at Lord's. Is that the Village Cup?
Village Cup.
Village Cup final. Nasty scenes as the Horton and Main opener Ian Simon is stretchered off, having been hit on his unhelmeted head by a bouncer.
Oh dear.
No, that's horrible.
That's not nice to see.
No, because that's such a lovely day, a jolly day. Oh.
Well, Sammy Curran up to the crease, down the leg side, inside it gets Labuschagne and it goes past his leg stump through to Bairstow, and there ain't no run.
Matt Searle confirming what I was saying, that on Warner's average, Jack Leach is averaging 13.5.
There you go. He's a hero.
This is deja vu all over again, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Indeed.
Smith and Labuschagne.
Well, this is the wicket to get, isn't it? You kind of feel like you open up one end if you get one of these.
Are they 1 wicket between them? Are they?
Yeah. 1 wicket away from victory, England. As Labuschagne defends that up to mid-off and there's no run. And you've got to think that Smith's highest score is 211. These who've got their highest scores of the series, they're 300 on this. They'll still be 50 runs short.
They have to do some test match batting, these two, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, look at that. During his test career, his average is half. 88 in the first innings. And 40-something in the second. And I've gone under 40 and a half. Maybe that's why the bookies weren't offering.
Could well be. Yeah.
Could be. They've looked at the stats. Flashed that by Labuschagne. Didn't get his head over the ball and was playing one outside the line of his body. Missed it altogether. Quite easily got a nick there, but he didn't, and there's no run.
Something always happens when Sam Curran's got the ball.
Yes.
Whether he might go for a few runs, but something always happens.
He generally gets something to happen, doesn't he? But he's got that angle, the left-hander's angle.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is why it's a surprise they haven't played him a lot. It's great to have that left arm option, isn't it?
Indeed. And he is a competitor, especially the way this ball has swung most of the series.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd have had a field day, you'd have thought. He's in again. That one goes across Labuschagne, but he gets forward and defended up to mid-off, and there's no run. Still blowing bowls.
Mog tells us, who'd have thought Chris Martin would ever be able to point at Warner and laugh at how shit his average is?
Indeed.
Everybody's favourite number 11.
Yeah, what was his test average? It was about 1.5 or something.
He was boosted at the end because he did have a couple of not outs towards the end.
Right.
And a 1 not out here and there.
Labuschagne faces up, Sam Curran in, he gets right forward and defends that. No,
So
no run.
I missed it. Is Warren's test average, this test series, it's 9.5 or something?
Yeah, and if you take out his 60 odd, it's 3 point something. So that one score out of
that is just glorious,
isn't it? Yeah, I know, isn't it? Just. I did one of those match point things for the Indians a while back, and it was after Warren had a really good series at home, and they were saying should he be at the time Root was in that, the Megastar 4 or whatever it is you want to call it, with Kane Williamson and Kohli and Smith, and at the time Root, and they were asking should Warner be added to it, and the truth of the fact is that Warner's average generally around the world isn't particularly good away from home.
Nah, it shouldn't be added to it. Definitely not.
I think his average away from home at the time was about 20 something.
It's probably
that's not.
It's probably taking a hit now.
Exactly, now it's going to take a hit now. We're going to see the first introduction even of England's bespectacled even hero with a bald head. It's Jack Leach.
Coming up, here's a face that I know. It's Jack Leach. Now coming up is Jack Leach. On Jack Leach.
Got 8 wickets so far in the series.
Without his glasses, he is morphing a little bit into Lion, isn't he?
They're
both baldy, sort of not huge, slim.
Is David Gower in one of those planes?
Yes.
We've got a fly past. Is that
Is that for
a bit
Gower?
far in a hurricane? I don't know. Maybe it is. But maybe for both Gower and Botham's last test, isn't it?
Yep.
They're both off.
Yep. And Gower's not wanting to go.
Yeah, I don't think Botham's too bothered.
No, I don't.
Certainly for him, the time is right. I think.
I just want to keep on yapping. I mean, he was caught off camera saying,
I've got a fucking clue.
I haven't got a fucking clue. That's right. Yeah. Yesterday.
Gower was. What?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
he's being...
No, not particularly to that. It was just he was caught on mic on the TV coverage. Ooh, first ball, Smith leaves as it doesn't turn at all. Just carries on with the arm from Jack Leach and doesn't miss his off stump by an awful lot.
Oh, that would have been...
And
glorious.
even Smithy's face was a big. Maybe he shouldn't have left that.
Come on, Leach.
Come on, Leachy, get Smith. He had him dropped. Off a no, well, no, he had him caught off a no
Caught
ball,
off a no
didn't
ball,
he,
yeah.
Muppet.
Yeah,
Played it
I
after
heard
cover,
your...
there's no run. Well, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
You were a little bit upset about that.
I was
weren't you?
very upset about it. I've never bowled a no ball in my life, and I'm a left arm spinner. There's no excuse for spinner bowling a bloody no ball. It's outrageous. Flamingo's that through leg side, and that's poor fielding when a man at mid wicket. There is a long on. It's Brody, and he'll only get himself a single. Should have got none.
We've got Matt Searle asking, what's the state of play with the GPL today? England added 16 to their overnight score. You've got another half an hour or so to get your GPLs in.
It was 55 at the start of the day. If you click on the
Which one?
Firefox icon.
Is that...
Yeah, that's the one. If you press refresh, which is up in the, you know where refresh is, it's a little curly arrow, that's the one.
yeah, I know that.
Okay, we've had 2 entries. You scroll down a page, just with the middle, there you go, there's the entries. You've had 2.
2.
Devin
Wade.
Devin Wade is in early with 237 and 273.
273,
yeah, we
yeah.
compete with Messi Jazz on that total. Defended by Labuschagne out to the covers, and there's no run.
Chris the Choir, we're talking about Smith's fourth innings scores. He has 350. He only has 350s and 21 fourth innings.
Oh, really? Interesting. Defended by Labuschagne, gets an outside half of the bat, goes to Jofra Archer.
So that's
just behind square on the offside, there's no run.
So it's obviously not Australia's just in second innings, but when Australia batted last, 2 of them were in the Middle East against Pakistan and 1 at Christchurch.
Okay. So his fourth innings chasing is a bit like Tendulkar.
Yeah, 97, 55 and 53 were those scores.
Okay, so I've got a fairly good chance of getting him for under 40. He's on 13 now, I don't have a lot to play
I
with, to be
reckon
fair.
28 he's going to be out.
28, I hope so. It'd be really nice to get him out just
It really
under
would.
50 once in the series,
Yep.
isn't it? Smith defended back up the track to the bowler, and there's no run. Labuschagne will take up residence on 12.
Yeah, without knocking him out anyway.
Yeah. Well, we knocked him out on about 70.
That's true.
Very deep third man says, disappointed you're only playing 2 tests versus New Zealand. I think it will be a great series. I
Yeah.
concur.
I completely
We don't play
agree.
New Zealand enough.
They have a strategy out there. I mean, I read one of the long reads in the Sport Guardian was about how New Zealand Cricket Board treated their cricket. It's not their favourite sport. They've got a small population.
Yeah,
they
we
make
know
money
rugby.
out of T20, so they basically have a strategy. Every year they'll play 2 tests, 3 ODIs, and 5 T20s.
2 tests isn't enough for a series.
In a
5 T20s. That's just.
Well, because they bring in the money and they don't get a lot of money.
Oh,
the IC, well, it's
yes,
partly
I
to do with the
know.
ICC, isn't it? The ICC aren't doling out the cash to the right people. Ooh, that beats the outside edge of Labuschagne as he
not.
plays for a little bit of swing. And it doesn't, and there's no run. It goes across him from Sam Curran.
We do also have a World Cup in that format to prepare for at the end of sort of next English
But
summer.
but they've been doing it for like 2 or 3 years now. It's the kind of format of a test of a series.
I quite liked after the last Ashes tour. England and Australia and New Zealand played a 3-way T20 tri-series, which was quite, that was a bit of fun.
We occasionally do that here, don't we? When the test series are crossing
It's
over.
in Australia, isn't it? The T20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would be fun to do, eh? That one comes in to Labuschagne a little bit swingy. And Sam Curran, he defends it up to mid-on. There's no run.
It'd be fun to do if we went.
Oh, it'd be lovely to do if we went.
I think a lot of them will be night games over there, though, so they might be sort of early starts.
Yeah, there'll be 5, 6, 7,
Here.
8 o'clock start.
There's the Tiger Moth.
There's the Tiger Moth. Yeah, but that bastard who hired me over the fucking World Cup still owes me 800 quid.
Yeah.
Cunt. Sorry, that's bad language, but he's a shark. Oh, that's across Labuschagne, and again, he doesn't know if it's coming in or not. It's good bowling by Sam Curran, to be fair. It's not the quickest, but it's quite intelligent.
PJW
No
has sent us this. Never used David Warner's bat from the 2019 Ashes Tour for $15. Free delivery as well.
Oh, nice.
So I had Trescothic's bat for an hour or so, which I held very
You didn't run
carefully.
away with it.
I didn't run away with it, but
The courts wouldn't let
Oh.
him.
He could have got a
good
new
cherry
one.
right in the middle.
He could have got a new one quite easily, you know. if
Yeah, no, he
run
had
away
several.
with
It was
Yeah,
one of
exactly,
his
you know.
one of his old ones.
I wouldn't have
but,
worried about that.
but you should have seen the edges. They were massive.
I know.
Massive. Illegal, I think.
Well, yeah. Dave Barrett, Men with Ven, came to when we did Dan Lucas Memorial going for the last couple of years. We didn't do one, unfortunately, this year. His ex was too busy. Or his girlfriend at the time, sorry. But he supposedly, Davey Warner played in a league club near him down near Whitstable, and he had one of his old bats, and the edges on it were phenomenal. They were illegal. That's defended back down the track by Labuschagne as Karen comes in. 4-4 the over, no run.
Had a weird thing. We had a Aussie veterans over, and they were over 60s. One of them had a bat with 8. What are they called?
8 grains.
No.
Yeah, up the face, you mean?
No, the handle.
8 grips.
Grips.
Jesus Christ, what size hands did he have?
Well, I did have a look at them. They weren't massive.
That seems a bit weird. That's across Labuschagne. It does the ninja leave and goes through to Bairstow behind the stumps, and there's no run.
Leah has thrown out another name for bad test batting averages, Pome and Bangway, who only averaged 2 apparently. Ooh. Very nice man actually, Pome. I met him during the World Cup.
Did you go for tea with him?
No.
Oh.
No.
Not the greatest commentator.
It was behind the Holly stand at Edgbaston. He was doing a report on the on the stand and its reputation.
Left alone outside the off stump by Labuschagne, through the keeper, no run.
Quite a report, I should imagine.
Which was pointless during the World Cup because the tickets were randomly allocated. You couldn't choose where you were going to sit, so nobody was you couldn't sort of get the atmosphere that you got for the
like the finals day, you mean?
Yeah, or for the Ashes Test match. So yeah, it's.
You're going to the finals day, aren't
I'm
you?
going to finals day next week. Yeah.
Is that Edgbaston?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's become a bit of a yearly trip. Me and a few people I play cricket with, we tend to go every year now. So it's a wonderful day, and Edgbaston's a wonderful ground to host
Very
it.
long day.
It is a long day, but we feel now we've got to a stage where we know how to play it now.
It was a very long day last year when Somerset were out straight away. And
yeah, I've had situations. I did see Leicestershire one year lose when they lost the first game as well. So you're out by 2 o'clock. But it's a great day, and it is now county cricket's big day.
And Moeen excelled there last year. Oh, he was wonderful to watch.
Down the track.
Oh, go on.
Is there someone down there? There was. Oh, there is someone down there. It's there. Well, Smith comes down the track and tries to smear Leach over long on. He doesn't get nearly enough of it, and it drops short of Broad, who is down at long on exactly for that. Beat him a bit in the flight there, complete mishit, bat turned in the hand.
If Smith had actually got all of that, he probably would have been caught. But because he mistimed it, actually worked out better for him. He's furious.
What's he doing? Why is
He's a weirdo, isn't he? He gets really angry with himself. Tossed up, Jack Leach left alone by Labuschagne, no run.
Yes, he does have some strange mannerisms, doesn't he, Smith? Shall I answer that?
No, Tim's down there.
He's got it.
That'd be Grubby.
Probably a bit of Grubster.
He's here for the rest of the day. I think at the end of the day, it's just me, you, and Grubby, basically.
Yeah, I've got to get a train at some
And
point.
the afternoon session is just me, you, Grubby, and Annie. We're very short-staffed today. Labuschagne just defends that back up the track. There's no run, but hopefully we'll break this partnership and it'll all be over by tea.
Hooray!
Grubby!
Hello, mate.
He's got a hot chicken in his hand too. Sunglasses, looking smooth.
Looks
man.
like he's come straight off a summer holiday.
He shut us in.
Yeah, he has. Leach around the wicket. Oh, bowls inside edge of the bat. Goes past short leg. They'll get a single. Out to mid wicket. No run. 1 run, sorry.
It's not a whole lot of scoring going on at the moment.
No. which they need to do. A lot of
They do.
marks outside the lefties.
It's not quite Hyderabad
No.
that Leach learned his trade on, but made for good cricket.
Around the wicket. And,
Makes
Smith
for
goes
great
back,
cricket.
plays
Best
back
place
the
in the world
track,
to
there's
watch
no run.
cricket.
I like a spinning track. I think it's great fun.
Yep. Bring the bowlers into play.
Absolutely.
God's sake.
Well, it's no good for the pacers generally. It means it's too slow. But
Bit of spin.
bit of spin. A spin match is great.
We've got a few people on YouTube.
Defended back down track. There's no run.
Bob Burrows says, looking forward to England here in New Zealand. Should be fireworks.
Yeah, should be a good match.
They're always good series down there. I mean,
yeah.
they're quite evenly matched.
Yeah, they are.
Quite evenly matched conditions as well.
The boss of gaming fan says, I believe in Australia. And Ronan asking, how did David Warner go? Usual.
He nicked off. He got into double figures, but not much further. He got to 11.
It's a good catch.
It was a good catch.
Al Armstrong Brown says, do patron subscribers get to hear more stories about what happens behind the stands at Edgbaston?
Yes, I wondered that.
I could do.
I can tell you that I've seen plenty of sort of fancy dress games of cricket break out behind the stands. I saw a nun make an excellent 50 during a rain
Nice.
break a couple of years ago. But yeah, a lot of my friends were sort of based in the Midlands. That is our sort of usual international ground of choice.
Curran is into Labuschagne. He gets an inside edge. Half of the bat goes down to long leg and get himself a single and off strike.
Matt Searle, so far Australia have 320 boundaries to England's 305. So even
Ooh.
if we win today and tied at 2-all,
It's a countback.
yeah, it's a shame. You'd have thought with this positive, that's the way we play England mindset, they would be able to out-boundary Australia.
You'd have thought so. Well, the thing is that Australia have twice got nearly 500, haven't they? At
Yes.
no point have England got anywhere near that.
And the second innings at Edgbaston, they scored at about 4 and over.
Yeah, they did. That was poor. What do you call that? It's kind of back foot smear by Smith. He's always, his eyes are over it.
Not a whole lot of boundaries at the moment, though. I haven't
His
had
foot
to
never
use
gets
the
out of the
jingle
ball.
machine.
It's kind of a back foot drive to cover anyway.
Yeah,
Where Butler's fielding, there's no run.
yeah, England are keeping it reasonably
Yep.
tight at the moment. They're not letting Australia get away.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of
It's
sessions
solid.
to go, though, aren't there? I mean, they're not in any great hurry. They've got all day tomorrow if necessary.
Yeah, they have. England need to break this partnership.
Yeah, if these two stay, I mean, it's just going to get squeaky bum time.
Indeed. Well, he curtain rails that, does Smith, drawing his bat from cover across his pads, but he gets the outside half of the bat, skews out to point. That's fielded by Stokesy, and there's no run.
An update from Knackle on the match. Lords, Houghton and Main are opening up after the excellent Reed opening bowlers completed their spell. Imran Khan, not that one, slog swept the last ball of Reed captains, who is an off spinner, and leading wicket taker Tom Greaves first over for 6, 53 for 3 after 18 overs. How many overs aside is that match? Do we know?
I think it's
Probably
40 or
40?
50, I'm not sure. That's at the stumps, a little bit short by Sam Curran. And Smith, unsurprisingly, gets inside it and works down to long leg where Leach fields, and they get a single. He moves on to 15. Labuschagne's on at 14. 55 for 2 Australia. Notional target 399.
And yeah, someone has just confirmed on Twitter it is a 40 over match, that game.
We covered that a couple of times live when we were at Test Match Sofa.
Oh, did you?
It was good fun.
Yeah.
I've never been. I've always
I've never been.
always
They
thought
tend-
it looks quite a fun.
It
fun
is a
day.
fun afternoon, and if it's sunny, it's great. We stood at whatever the stand is at Lord's, just to the left of the commentary position. If you're looking out onto the square, the upper is that Upper Compton? I don't know.
I think
It's either the Compton or the
is the
Edrich. It's
Yeah,
one of them. It's
left
one of those
alone
two.
outside
Yeah.
the off stump and Labuschagne, and there's no run. And we went out there and did some vox pops and stuff. It was fucking hilarious. And they put the square, they put the pitch they use generally right over on the edge of the square, so there's about 20-yard boundary on one side.
Yes,
Ridiculous.
right.
it's just
How funny.
insane. But it always ends up being close with quite low scores.
Yeah, and what sort of crowd do you get?
Nah, there's probably about 500, 600, 700 people there. You know, it's nearly
Yeah.
1,000 people. It's
That's
quite
not too
fun.
bad.
No, it's not. Left alone outside the off stump as Curran bowls across Labuschagne. It goes through the keeper and there's no run.
I think Knuckles saying it's about 14 quid to go or something like
It's
that.
not a lot.
Yeah.
It's generally sponsored
Which I
by
suppose is
Yorkshire
fair
tea
enough,
or
isn't
some
it?
cheese from Yorkshire. And it's usually a Yorkshire team in it, funny enough.
Yeah. My team down in Devon competed for it. We ended up doing quite well in Devon and then played against someone in Cornwall, but that's as far as we got.
Yeah, we didn't get out of like the sort of regional group phase. We didn't sort of progress into the next bit this year. We have before though.
There's quite strict criteria, isn't there, in terms of how many people are in your village and stuff. I don't think you can have over 10,000
Yeah, I can't
people
remember now
maybe.
because it was about 16 years ago we were in it.
Yeah, we're getting a bit concerned if they build any more houses, unfortunately. we
You won't
might not be
you won't
allowed
be
in
able to
anymore.
Yeah. Leach around a wicket to Smith, who comes down and clips it up to long on, where Broad is fielding.
It is one of the great things about
Single.
cricket, though, isn't it? That you can have things like this. That
Yeah.
I mean, and there should be more of it.
Well, there should be, and it's the ideal that the people who play in the park on a Saturday get their day at Lords.
Absolutely. Well, I remember as an under 15, when I played youth cricket, we got through to there was a national competition.
Oh yeah.
And we got right through to finals day, and we lost in the semi-final to the eventual winners.
So you didn't get to.
There were 890 teams, and we got to.
Wow.
Bob Willis gave me my medal.
Well, Bear.
Well, clipped by Labuschagne, but straight at a man at backward point, and there is no run.
Did he critique your performance?
I got 4 for 16 off my 4 overs, including.
And he still didn't get a 5 for Charles.
Well, no. We had. I got. They had a batsman who was one of the openers for England South East at the time, and I got him caught behind.
Hey, well
And
done.
I think I only got about 86 or something.
Oh,
there's an attempted. I think Bairstow thinks he's got his man.
I think this is out.
Labuschagne has been an attempted stumping by Bairstow. Really quick hands, actually, which surprised me for Bairstow.
They're
Let's be
all
honest.
stroking Leach's head.
They
aren't
are all stoking Leach's head. Labuschagne has reached forward, defended that. It's spat past his outside edge. Bairstow has taken the bails really quickly with really sharp work, which you don't. Oh my God, he's miles out.
See you later, son.
He's gone.
He's definitely
Labuschagne
gone.
dragged his back foot out of the crease.
Yes!
His foot is in the air, and it's not grounded behind, and the bails
not a
are
no
up in
ball,
the
is
air.
it?
It's
No,
not a no
no, you're
ball.
all right.
And that is going to be out, stumped. That's fucking sharp work by Bairstow.
Yeah.
Credit to him. We gave him a lot of shit over the summer,
We have.
but that's quality keeping of the highest order. That's really good keeping. And Labuschagne goes, and suddenly Australia 56-3. We got an end open. He said, only 3 wickets down. That is really
great
good
keeping.
keeping. That is really good keeping.
So sharp.
I appreciate that as a left-arm spinner. Well, no, when I was a kid, I had who ended up being the England South East wicket keeper, and he was like 2 years below me. But this guy called Andrew Griffin, and fuck me, he was not the best keeper standing back, but up to me. I mean, the amount of stumpings I got as a
So
kid.
your wickets are his wickets, really?
Essentially, it's
Yeah.
kind of a partnership, but he had such quick hands.
Makes
and you
such a difference,
really
doesn't it?
appreciate
Yeah,
it as a
yeah.
spinner, The keepers who are good for spinners aren't necessarily always the keepers who are good
No.
at standing back and vice versa, but you do appreciate it. Because I remember my bowling, the opening bowler we have is a guy called Stuart Easterbrook, and he was also South of England opening bowler. I was really fortunate to go to a school that all these we all played. We all played at school cricket. We all played at club cricket. We're all from the same area, and we all played. There was
what
about
it
5 or
should
6
be
of us
like
were
now.
in the sort of Hertfordshire youth setup as well, all at the same time. So we went up through the age groups together.
ECB, I hope you're listening to him.
Well, this is a long way back, and but he was a really good bowler. He ended up going to Durham University, and but he used to get annoying because although this keeper always used to get me wickets, he used to drop a few standing back, and he was like, he's not very good standing back, but he's really good standing up,
Just make him stand up to the seamers then.
Well,
You must have a million tweets.
We've got a
Yeah.
few tweets. We're a little quiet on the Twitter sphere today. I assume sleepy Sunday morning for everybody around wherever you're listening. Ravi tells us that he reckons Wokes is playing as a specialist batsman because we've not seen him yet. We're talking about the boundary count. Messi Jez says Australia should win on the away goals rule.
We haven't seen a lot of Wokes, have we? Right,
No, we haven't. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, this is it.
Happened early in the series, didn't it, as well? What? Oh.
But it's kind of odd. That's Wade is new
Yes.
batsman. We got a leg slip, we got a short leg, and we got a slip.
I'll jingle Wade up now.
He ain't heavy. We Matthew Wade him.
That's just good, really good keeping. You
Excellent.
don't often say about Bairstow, let's be honest. Leach over the wicket, slapped down to deep backward square leg. Archer can't get around to it. It's going to be 4 runs. He gets himself off the mark with a boundary. I got that wicket. So
The number of the day. Who could ask for
Always love
more?
a good bet.
The number of the day is 4.
Evil Scooters has gone bold.
Oh yeah,
Said over by second session drinks? Question mark.
Well,
could be.
I hope
could
so, 'cause
be.
we haven't got
I mean,
enough
this is it.
people
I mean,
here.
we could definitely do with it being done by tea.
we could definitely do it with MOT. It would save us all a good amount of time. You got to say, actually, you know, if Smith goes, then you can see it all collapsing, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but we've
cer-
got one of them out. We've got one of the partnership
we're doing
out.
it
Well,
Open.
exactly. But if you get the
Yeah.
other one out,
Oh,
you
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's all done and dusted, isn't it? On the back foot, Wade works that behind square down to a long leg, and there's a single.
I wouldn't rule Wade out.
No, I wouldn't either.
No.
Under 18, under 90 and a half to fall the next wicket. I'm going
Under what?
90 and a half.
I think that's-
30
I think
runs.
that's a good
29 runs spread.
We've had a nice sketch once more from Dr. Dan, which I've retweeted for you all to have a look at.
Hello, Dr. Dan.
Matt Searle says it's time to go lower on the GPL.
Yeah, probably. You've got 10 minutes roughly, or just over. Get your runs in on the GPL.
Devon Wade, are we sure that isn't a Bairstow stunt double in there?
Who knows?
Oh, we've got quite a few now.
Oh, we got what have we got? We got 173.
173, Devon Wade, and then at the top is 286, Lancashire bloke.
Okay.
Nothing from Messi Jez.
Oh, he comes in late,
He'll-
man.
he'll
Yeah.
charge
He's
in.
he's a pro at the GPL.
But England added 16, didn't they? So, so I'm trying to think where I would go. Obviously, I have to end in 3 for Messers.
Obviously, he never breaks that rule.
It obviously works for him, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does eventually. I go for somewhere between 180 and 200, I reckon. That's defended by Wade up to mid-on, and there is no run.
Jack Burway, did Wokes use some Bear-style language at root in the second test and have fallen out of favour since?
Possibly.
Well, it was actually the first test. He didn't. He was not seen in the second innings.
Yeah, I know. and
Of
we
the
were a
first
bowler-
test.
and we were a bowler down.
Exactly, when Anderson had limped off after however many overs he
But
lasted.
it's kind of weird because he was so effective during the World Cup. You'd have
Absolutely.
thought, you know,
And he's
you'd
been
have-
effective in this.
and
in
he's
the
been
test when
effective
he's
in
bowled.
Test cricket
Yeah.
in England as
Yeah.
well. It is kind of weird. That one carries straight on, no swing there, and Wade plays it out to mid wicket, and there's no run.
And he got that big haul against Ireland, didn't he, as
Yeah.
well at Lords? So yeah, that has been a strange one.
That was a good test. I enjoyed watching.
Yeah,
I
that
was there. Yeah, I was
That
there
was a
for
weird
That was
thing.
great.
England were always behind in that match until they won, but they were
Yes.
they were
Yes,
always odds on
absolutely.
to win.
I was
it
going to
as
say,
well.
you always felt they were going to
Yeah.
win, even though they were behind
Yeah.
the 8 ball.
But you
Yeah.
didn't expect that from Leach, did you? You have to have faith.
No.
I remember watching that in the office. It was brilliant.
Beats the outside edge this time, Curran. It's outside and channel of uncertainty to Wade.
I saw just
the keeper
before
run.
he did that. I saw Vic Marks, and he said, "I've embarrassed myself in the commentary because I said to everyone, Leach can't bat at all. He's got 4, and he said, and now he's proved me wrong."
That was the week. It was like 38 degrees, wasn't it?
Yes.
It
Oh.
was unbelievable, wasn't it?
It was 40, and we were on the front row in the sun.
Oh.
And I was with my mother-in-law, who was just melting.
Defended by Wade out to cover, and there's no run.
That was unbelievable that week.
Yeah.
Because I was sent from the office to go and get some ice creams from there's like a Waitrose just round the corner.
They melt before you got.
Yes. So I got a pack of those cornettos and something else, and I think there were only about 2 of the 10 I'd brought that were eatable by the time I got back, and I was only outside for 5 minutes.
It was mad. It was mad. Having late summer.
Oh,
Lovely weather here
it's
today.
Gorgeous.
Oh, fenced out by Wade, beaten on the outside edge by an away swinger from Sam Curran, and there's a no run.
Yeah, my club's still got 3 matches left this season.
Really?
Yeah, we go into October.
Wow.
We're done. We finished. We finished actually on the last weekend in August was our last game. The 1st of September.
That's league, though, is it?
Yeah. We haven't got any extra games this year.
There's no league games now in Devon, but we are friendly, purely friendly.
Very friendly.
Very, very friendly.
I think
you want to
things
join?
would have finished about by now. Short by Curran, through to keeper. There's no one. I'm just going to go to Lou.
I'll keep talking away because we do have some tweets.
Because of course, poor Bear hasn't had a break
for
a while.
Little bit of Twitter discussion about Bairstow from Kunal, who says, does that stumping mean Johnny keeps his place and Folks doesn't get a look in? I like Bairstow, but he needs to go for a while.
Go for a while.
Yeah, I can see if they choose to rotate for the New Zealand series, Bairstow will be one, and I think Folks will go to New Zealand.
I hope so. He deserves
He's done nothing. He's done nothing wrong apart from the fact he's not Johnny Bairstow or Josh Butler. Well, that's what he's done wrong.
He hasn't been scoring runs recently, has he?
No, he's had a difficult season, but mind you, so have pretty much everybody for Surrey. There's a lot of teams in the First Division this year who haven't got many runs.
It's hard to have a good season when the matches are so spread out.
Yeah, absolutely. Although we did have a run, obviously, with the World Cup being on. Leach is continuing. Smith drives, fielded by Burns, no run. Yeah, we had that run, didn't we? There was a run of games during the World Cup.
Yeah, but we've got 3 now, right at the end of September. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh well, I won't go on.
Although sometimes you get good weather in September, as we're having at the moment, so it should be a fun week.
I know. Just imagine next year if it rains all of July and August.
Well, just so long as we can have the blast group stages completed first. It could happen though, because I'm
going to do rain dances. No, I'm not really, honestly.
Oh, it's just pushed into the offside by Smith. No run. The Bear has returned.
I'm back. Yes.
What else we got on Twitter from Leah? Tail ender update. Jasprit Bumrah is on course to rob Pommy and Bangway of a test average. He's on an even 2.
Nice. Down the track. Oh, comes Smith, drives it a little bit aerial, bounced probably about 5 yards in front of Joe Root. He's at mid-off. He's up inside the circle. Tempting. No run. Smith's on 16, Wade's on 5, and 61 for 3 Australia.
He's shaking his head.
Come on, let's get Smith for something fuck all.
I said 28, didn't I?
You said 28, that's true. We'll have to that'll be after lunch. We've got about 6-7 minutes before lunch, and 6-7 minutes to enter GPL, which started off at £55 this morning. Off the back foot, played out to cover by Smith, no run.
Oh, look at that.
Loads of it. The messages is in. How many? What's the take if you go up to the top?
Right, it's 145 for Des. He's done quite a few till 171.
Okay, that's on the leg side, no leg slip, and it goes past short leg, and they'll get themselves a little dinky single.
Lancashire Bloke 286 is the highest total, and then Messages is various.
There's a big spread today.
Threes.
Well, obviously you don't know how Australia are going to do. If you go scroll right up to the top of the page, it tells how many entries you've got. Take further up. 30 people have entered the GPL today, and you've got another 6 minutes to get in, which means the pot will be up to, if it started at 55 today, it will be up to 70 quid. It will be the pot, roughly thereabouts. Might be 69, might be 71, but it's there or thereabouts. And that could be yours if you get the score right. It's the last chance before we take it. Well, it may, I suppose, if it goes into tomorrow, it's not your last chance. Let it go tomorrow. Driven out through the covers as Wade takes a little step down the track. Out to the deep cover region. Broad chases it out there, and Wade gets back for 2.
Someone sunk.
638. Who's 638? That'll be
Broad, I think. Well, so it's a floppy hat, it's either Broad or Archer.
That's indeed.
Leach has bowled beautifully,
I
think, these opening overs from him today.
Yeah, he's making them think about what they're going to do to score runs, isn't he? I mean, they're generally...
And this is why he's in the team, because he is a very good fourth innings bowler.
He is a good fourth innings bowler. He likes the rough. Who doesn't as a spinner? Get a bit of turn. You always think you're in the game. Yeah.
He's awesome.
And the good thing about him is he's consistent. He's kind of
Yeah,
metronomic.
he is,
and I
he
think, especially in the fourth innings, if you can be metronomic in the fourth innings and get that right spot and right length, then you can always.
And there is
score
quite a lot of rough, isn't there?
Yeah, there is,
Yeah.
especially outside the
Yeah.
lefties off stump. Not as many as they used to be in the Australian side. They've got rid of Khawaja and Head. There's 2 gone.
Oh, they do have a plethora of left-handed.
Yeah, they do, more than us. We got rid of a few as well, to be fair. Curran over the wicket to Smith, who goes right across his stumps. He's the driver of it. Pretty ugly. Inside half of the bat, back to Curran, and there's no run.
We've got Matt Searle, who says, is this match just like England from days gone by? Knacker and I were talking about this yesterday. Bairstow can finally keep. Denley bats well in final innings of the series to keep place on winter tour, like when Chris Lewis would close the season with 200 to go on a winter trip to do bugger all.
Absolutely.
It does seem to happen.
All right, keep the paycheck coming in, you know what I mean.
Yeah, it was.
It is surprising how badly we often do in our first test.
Smith goes back and across and defends Curran out to mid-off, and there's no run.
Well, that's because we never have any preparation. That's the main reason for it.
Yeah.
The Ireland test was what?
Straight
10 days, I think, after the World Cup final. You know, it was.
And half of them didn't play.
Kelsa England were 85 all out, slogging. You know,
on a wicket that was doing a shitload.
It was. Tim Murtagh must
with
have.
a red ball on a cloudy, overcast day on the first day. Driven up to mid-off by Smith, and there's no run.
Yeah, there was a thunderstorm as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, there was.
We lost a fair bit of play on the first day.
Yeah. We've got Evil Scooters, who has said Australia retain the Ashes despite no opener averaging 11, only one opener passing 16. Khawaja dropped, Haid dropped, Wade passing 50 once, Smith missing 3 digs, Lyon little impact in tests 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's true, but it's been a question that the bowlers have been on top, both sides. England's bowlers, top 4 seam bowlers are Hazelwood, Cummins is top. I think Archer is second, Broad is third, and Hazelwood is fourth. So, whatever you say, it's been a bowler series. That's clipped up to mid on.
I bet
no
Anderson
run.
is gutted.
Gutted.
That he hasn't managed
he'd have
to
made a
play.
big difference. I mean, if you look at it, and people are going to say that's rose-tinted glass and everything. 15 overs in the last test. We win this, it would have been 2-1. We were an hour and 30 minutes short. Getting a draw,
and also losing 2 days at Lords,
and
was
also
probably the one.
Indeed, yeah, true. Anyway, Curran's around a wicket now to Smith. It's into his pads, and he works it square on the leg side. Wokes is out there in the deep field, and he'll get himself a single.
We've got another one from Evil Scooters, who's got a good stat here. That over the course of the series, in terms of all-time runs, Steve Smith has passed 11 batsmen.
Oh, really?
He is now
great stats. I love that.
He now just needs 5 to go past Jayasuriya and 3 to go past Hutton.
Oh God, let's hope he doesn't do it. Sorry.
I think
Sorry, Australia.
So that was when he was on 17. So.
Oh, okay. Well, he's on 18 now. Driven nicely out through the covers by Wade. He's not got enough on it to get a 4. It'll probably be a double. As Broad once more goes back.
Get back for 3.
That's good running. The throw wasn't that great from Broad. And Wade moves on to 10 and retains the strike.
Devon Wade, I know how Wokes feels. The only thing I've done wrong not to be included in the Aussie side is not being named Matthew.
Indeed. He's a mouthy bastard as well, Matthew Wade.
One more before lunch?
I think there'll be one more before lunch, indeed. This will be the last
we didn't do enough time wasting in that over.
No.
Well, you get another over. Leach can fizz an over in. England probably be quite happy to have another one.
Oh yes, definitely. Come on, Leachy.
Another wicket before lunch, and that would be lovely, wouldn't it? I'm presuming for wicket falls here, they take.
Crikey, O'Reilly.
A nice shirt, both of them.
I can tell it's Beefy's last day.
Yeah, exactly. He's on the out. Look at him. He's very proud of his shirt or cover or whatever you want to call it. Is it a jacket or is it a shirt? I think it's a jacket with lots of fish on it. Down the track. Oh, that was a bit aerial. Played back to Leach on his follow through. It must have bounced before him.
My mate Robin Asquith is there today in Botham's box.
No, is he?
Ooh.
What's it got on it?
I think it is a.
It's fishing flies, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Maybe it's his leaving present.
Yeah, maybe.
God.
Yeah, he's not that bothered about leaving, is he? Defended by Wade out to the offside. There's no. Well, we might interview both actually. Both. We're going to go up to Durham, I think, at some point. We're hoping to. Anyway, we're going to do a little.
You're going to see Foxy?
I don't know if we're going to see Foxy. I hope so, but we're going to go up to Durham Club hopefully before the end of the season and do a little thing on county finance. Wade goes back and attempts to cut that.
Oh, what is it?
Keeping us no one. Tony's organised it.
Oh.
He's had a few chats with the board at Durham, or the chief executive.
He doesn't want me to go as well, does he?
Well, he could do. We're going to try and look there. I think we're going to try and get Matthew North.
Oh yeah.
It is Matthew North. Is it Matthew North?
Marcus North.
Marcus North. Yeah.
I knew it was an M.
Yep.
I hope he's not listening. Defending on the leg side. Sorry, Marcus.
No, it sounded right.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Because it had an M. But one of the questions I asked him I want to ask him is, how do you feel having to bowl those overs at Monty and Jimmy? did you not say to the captain, why the hell am I bowling? Why have you got some post bowler trying to bowl at Monty?
Well, when you've got batsmen of the calibre of Anderson and
The
Panesar,
Monty,
you really...
What are you going to ask both of them?
I don't know. I don't know if we'll get to interview him,
No.
but he's on the board up there, isn't he? And he's
Yeah,
retired
I was going to
from
say,
this.
that he's sort of come in since Durham had all their financial problems. He's
Yeah. I presume he's a kind of figurehead too to draw in some finance.
Yeah.
On the track, there's an appeal for LBW from Bairstow as Wade didn't get to the pitch of the ball and padded up. Probably too far
He was
down. Probably
way
hit him
far
outside
too
the
far
off stump,
down,
and the
surely.
umpire wouldn't like to make a decision. Yeah, it's hit him outside the line of off stump. He's trying to cover up. Maybe you want to try someone on the offside. Short too. Around the wicket, Leach. Last ball before lunch, and again it's just padded out, balloons out to short cover, or it should be short cover, but he's a bit deeper. Certainly won't carry to him. That's the end of the over. And I think that's going to be lunch.
Yeah.
I think that's
lunch
Session
on day
England
4.
too. Session England.
You think that's Session
Yeah.
England? I agree with you.
Yeah.
And came out. How many runs did we get? 16.
Yeah, 84 runs in the session.
84 runs in the session,
3 wickets down, including Labuschagne.
including Labuschagne. It was a great bit of stumping by
Yeah.
Bairstow. Wickets this morning, 2 for Broad, as he got the openers. Bowled Matthew Wade, an absolute peach, beat the outside edge, knocked out the ground, his off stump. And then Warner edged. Funnily enough, that. Caught Burns in the slips for Broad. He got to double figures. He got 11. Marcus Labuschagne for once, and he got 14. Stump Bairstow, bowled Leach, and Smith remains non-out, 17 or 18, and Wade's on 10 or 11. The score is 68 for 3. And we'll be back after lunch if Annie can go onto the Firefox.
I'll just
Oh,
I'll
right,
just
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
just
We'll go
rattle
through
through
some
some tweets while we get something for your entertainment during the lunch break. I did that one from Devon. Yosia Joe, I hope I've got that one right. Says no way for the Aussies to win this one now. Leah says Atherton commented on Beefy's shirt this morning saying he hadn't seen it yet, but that he had already heard about it. The shirt will have a Twitter account by the end of the day, I would imagine.
Oh,
And the Bear will put something on, and we will be back
Yeah.
in about half an hour, 40
After
minutes.
I've run down to the shop to get something to eat.
Episode 3 of Gorilla Show.
See you later.
From Gloucestershire to Leicestershire, up into the stratosphere. Grab yourself a can of beer. Countyman, lend us an ear. From Armstrongshire to Zubershire, even if you're a newbie here. Welcome, welcome, welcome here. Welcome to Gorilla Share. Get out of bed and chair and head for here. Forget the spouse, kids and career. Fish will bring some atmosphere. Endo's bite ain't worse than his Berkshire. From Warwickshire to Worcestershire, still around or disappeared. They're part of the discussion here. Welcome to Gorilla Share.
Yes, indeed. Welcome once again to Gorilla Share.
It's the show where we look at the richly varied, occasionally eccentric, but always exciting world of county cricket. And in our bid to find the very best all-time England team from each county, we've so far visited Durham, Kent, Middlesex, Sussex and Somerset. And tonight, it's the turn of two absolute county giants, Yorkshire and Surrey. By my count, that's about 167 potential selections for my two guests to discuss. And they are both men steeped in the traditions of their county. In the studio here with me is the wonderful Jason Hiscox.
Good evening.
And in the White Rose corner, and indeed in the White Rose County itself, none other than Nick Martin. Hello, Nick.
Hi, good evening, gents.
So, Nick, actually, let me start with you and throw you the first question. Just tell me a little bit about your history with Yorkshire.
So, obviously, born in Yorkshire. I've been a Yorkshire member since 2005, so seen plenty of good cricket and sometimes in different cricket over the years. Obviously, kind of some incredible test matches with Headingley over the years as well. So, yeah, it's been an enjoyable period.
Now, Jason, I think you've got a few more extra years for Surrey than the 14 there, haven't you?
Not by much, I have to say. I mean, I'm originally from the southwest, from Devon, and came to London in the early 90s after university.
Right.
And was an occasional Surrey visitor for most of the 90s, and then became a member probably in the early 2000s, just after the glory years of the Hollyoake period.
Ah, yes.
And have been a member pretty much ever since.
Oh, so basically you're quite similar in your length of time, but knowledgeable in your depth of the understanding of the history. Well, what we're going to do, obviously there hasn't been a round of county games for us really to talk about, and everyone's pretty much steeped in the blasts. But so what we will do is we'll just have a very quick discussion about things around the grounds county-wise. Let's start with the blast. Quarterfinals, of course, this week. Nick, who do you think's going to make those quarterfinals? Oh, sorry,
So
the semi-finals, final. Who's going to make finals then?
It's interesting actually because the last round of games there was a few teams kind of snuck in the last minute, notably Middlesex. But there's a course final going on this evening, and it might sound blasphemous, but I kind of fancy Lancashire a little bit. They've got some good players. They're the kind of remaining northern team in the draw. I think they'll be a good bet. Also Nottinghamshire. Kind of got some very good players with the likes of Alex Hales, Patel. I think those could be two to watch.
So you've got Lancs and Notts, which unfortunately knocks Middlesex out. Do you think Lancs might not suffer just a wee bit having to play at Durham?
Yes, it's unfortunate actually. You know, kind of with there being the Old Trafford test at the same time. And I don't think the weather's great at the moment as well. It's a long way for Lancashire to travel for a home game. But they have got a good record up at Durham as well. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes. I think either of those two teams, and I think Essex squeezed through in that last game by a very small margin.
They did.
But again, I've got some seasoned pros there, you know, kind of the Tender Scarters and Radil Powers that will always kind of perform well in T20 big nights. So, yeah.
Okay, well that's useful to know. Jason, where are you putting your T20 money for finals day?
I agree that Lancashire will probably squeeze through, given that they were the pick of the Northern Division. They were topped it after the round robin series.
And in the county championship as well, or certainly in Division 2 of the county championship.
Not Middlesex. I'm going to go Middlesex for that one. I think their powerful batting lineup, if it fires, will probably do the business on what can be a very flat track at Treadbridge.
We have Majid back,
which will help them to restrict rather than to score.
It will, but I think we've missed him almost as much as we missed A.B. de Villiers, got to be honest.
Of the other two matches, the Derbyshire match is a real toss-up. I have no real idea about that.
Yeah, they're both kind of quite interesting teams, aren't they? But where did they finish? Gloucestershire finished second, Derbyshire finished third. Gloucestershire, my favourite particular player is Ryan Higgins.
I think Gloucestershire will probably win that because they tend to have the better pedigree in terms of one day and T20.
Michael Klinger as well, I think, do they not have there?
So I would be favouring them slightly, and the last game, which is
you've got Sussex and Worcester.
Worcester, I think. They're reigning champions, are they not? So
they are indeed, and proof that you don't necessarily have to spend a fortune in overseas players to get there. And Moeen Ali did the business for them last time out. He made 50, I think.
Moeen Ali, Pat Brown, and a few others. Pennington.
Well, all right. So that's your calls for finals day. Let's just very quickly turn to the county championship. Nick, I'm going to come to you first. Division 1, is it just a shootout between Essex and Somerset, or can Yorkshire somehow gatecrash that party?
I think it'll be tough for Yorkshire. One advantage is that they have got to play Somerset, and that's the next county game, I believe. I saw Yorkshire quite convincingly beat Somerset at Headingley earlier in the season. It does, though, rely on somebody else beating Essex, and I think that Essex are too strong this season. I think that they will do it.
Well, that's an interesting call. One of the things that fascinates me there, and we talked about it last time as well a little bit, is that Essex and Somerset have to play each other down at Hyderabad on the very last day of the season. A match that's very likely to need a positive result. Anything could happen. Jason, let's talk about you. I think Surrey have got Hampshire, Essex, and Notts again. You're going to have to win all three, aren't you?
We are, but I think that's academic. I don't think they will win all three. Two of those games are away. Hampshire's liable to be a flat track. Essex is a good track, but there's no guarantee of a result, and they are flying high. And in the previous match against Essex this year was was the first match of the season, and I think it was a complete road at Surrey, and Tenderscarter scored 100 in a big score. And I don't see us necessarily getting the right result there.
It's been a curious season in the championship-wise. After last season's magnificent efforts, it's been a bit of a downer this season, isn't it? Really, a little bit.
Yes, the team is broken up slightly because there's been more calls from England. It's been more disrupted because of the World Cup. The batsmen haven't batted anywhere near as well as they did last year, and Morning Walpole has not bowled well at all. So he's not providing pressure at one end from which the other bowlers can take advantage from the other end. So that's reduced their wicket taking ability, and they suffered as a result.
But no relegation concerns?
No, I think the win in the match recently has put that to bed.
A London team.
There was only one team going to go down anyway because there's three teams.
Well, no, absolutely.
And I think, is it Kent?
Nottinghamshire.
I think Notts are struggling out then.
Yeah. We wouldn't want another London team winning a championship one season and disappearing out the Division 1 the next, would we?
Well, at least we get a derby back again.
Well, we certainly haven't. Those T20, both of them been magnificent and wonderfully supported, which is terrific. Okay, so we are very soon going to come on to the meat and drink of our discussion, and that is for our guests to focus on their two counties, Yorkshire and Surrey, and pick the best ever teams that have played for them and also for England. And this is going to introduce that with this little piece of music.
Who fills you with local pride? Who would you pick for your side? Who makes it into your dream team to take on the Tipper teams?
Indeed. So Nick, I'm going to come to you first. Yorkshire, 33 championship wins. Phenomenal. Let's start with talking about your openers, and my goodness, you've got such a list to work from, but who have you gone for and who have you left out?
So I've actually kind of bent the rules a little bit, so I've actually selected three openers, just because there's so many to fit in, and I'm batting one at number 3.
Okay.
But the first batsman I've got in there is Herbert Sutcliffe. 16 Test centuries, an average of 60, 60.73, which is still the highest Test average for an English batsman. In 1922, he scored 2,000 runs in the season, and then continued to do the same feat for the next 14 seasons. Famously opened the batting for England with Surrey's Jack Hobbs, and between those two, they averaged over 87 together as openers.
I should say that on for this podcast, Nick's not in the studio with us. We have him on various technological means. But when you mentioned that opening partnership, a huge smile enlightened the face of Jason as he thought about that Surrey-Yorkshire combo. And actually, we were talking about it earlier today.
The best of enemies getting them together, but they were formidable at the top of the order. And if you kind of place that into modern context, what England would do these days for an opening pair that could average 87 together. He was a member of the bodyline team. He was captained by Douglas Jardine. Went to Australia and won the Ashes. And just kind of was one of these players that is steeped in legend and kind of history, and that kind of has a lot of honour about him around Headingley. There's a lot of kind of memorabilia and kind of things like that. So he's somebody that would get into the current England team most days of the week, I think.
So he's first up, and who's he opening with?
He's opening with the greatest living Yorkshireman, some might say, Geoffrey Boycott. So he kind of obviously has a lot of things to kind of said about him these days, but he scored 151 first-class hundreds at over 50. His career kind of went from the mid-60s to the late 80s. There's the kind of running theme through this side that I've picked is players with a bit of grit and a bit of toughness about them, and kind of in terms of his batting style, none more tough than Boycott. You'd have to really kind of grind him out. Not the easiest person to get on with by all accounts, but got the job done.
Okay, so without giving away necessarily your number 3, were there others you considered as well for that top order? Who didn't make the cut? Who would be disappointed?
Probably Michael Vaughan. Again, a bit of a divisive character these days, but was very successful both for, not so much successful for Yorkshire, had an incredible Ashes series in Australia in 2001, and then captaining England to the Ashes victory in 2005 for the first time in kind of decades, really. But I couldn't find any space for him in this team.
Well, so I was thinking more of openers, but you've nailed your colours there. You've got very clearly Sutcliffe and Boycott. That would be some pair. So Jason, let me come to you. Surrey, I think 20 championships, including one shared in 1950, I think, from recollection. Well, I say recollection from reading. I wasn't here. I was a child of the 50s, though. You might be interested to know. So who have you got top of your order?
Well, funny you should mention the name Hobbs, because the Master is at the top of my list. 199 first-class hundreds with a best of 316. Average of 56 from 5,400 runs in Test cricket, with a high score of 211. 15 Test hundreds. Not a bit of a dasher when it occasionally. Certainly didn't last very long after he got to 100 normally by reputation, and scored a lot of runs in his older age. He scored more hundreds after 40 than he did before.
Oh, good for him. Gives us all hope.
Yes, exactly.
Well, gives some of us hope. So that was an interesting point. So he tended to raise his bat in acknowledgement and then have a dash and get out.
Yes, he didn't. He then would get on with it from that point onwards. If he bat properly up until about 100, then he thought after that it's free play time.
Well, were we to combine these two teams, and he's opening with Geoffrey, we might need someone to be getting on with it. But, well, interesting shout.
In contrast to him is my second opener. A name you will know well, a name from Norfolk, a name which is synonymous with Middlesex as well as Surrey. It's the youngest version of the Edrich family. It's John Edrich.
Oh, John Edrich, of course.
5,138 runs, an average of 43. And best of 310 in the test matches.
How about his performances against Australia there, Jason? I seem to have a mental recollection of him facing Lillian Thompson, and I suppose they gave everyone a tough time.
That was very much towards the end of his career.
Yeah, that could be why.
His performances against Australia, he got 2,644 runs, an average of 48.9.
Stylish player as well, from my recollection, although quite gritty as well.
Yes, well, my memory is mainly of him being very gritty, sort of a bit like the Alistair Cook of his generation. You know, he had a cut shot, he had a flick off his legs, and occasionally had a drive.
Okay, so you've gone for Jack Hobbs and John Edrich.
Yep.
It's gone for Sutcliffe and Boycott. Yeah, let's talk about our number threes then. So, Jason, I'll stick with you actually this for the moment. Who have you got? Should there be an early wicket to fall, who's going to come in and pick up the pieces?
Well, this was pretty much a no-brainer for me, given he's got one of the highest averages of international cricketers. It is the great, sadly missed very early, Ken Barrington.
Yeah.
6,800 runs, 58.6, with 20 tons and 35 fifties.
And again, he was a dasher or a blocker?
A bit of both, actually. He started out being a dasher and then got dropped from the England side. Decided that in order to retain his place in the side and keep his place in the side, he would need to be a bit more defensive in his outlook, and turned into a bit more of a stonewaller, very careful, very correct batsman.
Okay, fantastic. And obviously, as you said, very sadly missed.
Yes, he died in the 80-81 tour to West Indies when he was a tour manager.
Yes, yeah, it was a terrible thing. I recall that well.
A bad tour all round with the Jackman affair and his death.
It was, but what a player, and you have him in there at number 3. Nick, who have you got coming in at number 3?
So my number 3, possibly one of my favourite players in this list, and it was really tough to lead him out the top 2, is Sir Len Hutton. Absolute all-time great for Yorkshire and England. 19 Test hundreds at 56 and 129 first-class hundreds at 55. He kind of played in the 30s and then after the war as well, and was involved in an extraordinary Test match in 1938, the final test of the series at the Oval, which was a timeless test where England batted first and scored 903 for 7 declared, of which 364 was scored by Hutton, and he kind of took 13 hours, nearly 3 days batting, which is still a record on that ground. It was only actually his 6th Test match. Extraordinarily, he broke his arm in a gymnasium accident during the war, and when he kind of had 2 operations on it, it was about 3 inches shorter with his left arm than his right arm, and it kind of seriously made him alter his playing style after when he returned kind of in the mid-40s. He was unable to play the pull shot, but still had an illustrious career. In 51 he was the captain of England. He was the first ever professional captain, which was massive back in those days.
It was curious. I mean, the generation pre, the amateurs appeared to be the key people who got all the best dressing rooms, but best looked after, and the professionals were looked down upon and had to go and even change in separate pavilions, didn't they? It's quite extraordinary, and so different for today. But you've got Sir Len. You're not going to be short of people who can occupy the crease. I can already see that in your top 3. So that's great. So that's top 3s sorted. Let's think about now, because you're going to have teams of, well, superstars from whichever era they operated in. They will be superstars. You're going to need a strong captain to keep them in order. Nick, I'll start with you. Who have you got captaining your Yorkshire team?
So captaining my Yorkshire team, and passing down the order, I must add, is Ray Illingworth. So a very good player, a very good all-rounder, but also kind of renowned for getting the best out of players, particularly tough players, with some of the characters in a Yorkshire team and the very traditional Yorkshire mentality of being a bit difficult and a bit stubborn. But Ray Illingworth could get the very best out of very good players, but also kind of get perhaps average players to overperform as well.
Doesn't he
as
have
well
a
as
great
being a
quality
very
of-
good player himself.
Well, yeah, and doesn't he also have a decent track record against Australia, winning, I think, a series
Yes.
in Australia, does he not?
So yes, 71 Ashes. He won 2-0 as a captain, which is still the only ever Ashes tour that England have been undefeated on, which is incredible, really. To think of all the years of Ashes tests.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a very, very good character, I think, for captain.
So what number are you batting in?
He's down at 6.
He's down at 6, and he'll presumably be turning his arm as well.
Absolutely.
So maybe he's your all-rounder, but hold that thought. Jason, who's going to be flipping the coin for Surrey?
This is an area where I had quite a lot of thought and issues, not only because of the captain I wanted to choose, but also because of the composition of the team that it resulted from it. I've gone with essentially a team of 6 batsmen and 5 bowlers. One of the 6 batsmen being a batting wicketkeeper. But I really, if I would have my personal choice, and the team had allowed it, I would have had Labuschagne in my side. With an average of 48 from 22 tests, but only 100. But unfortunately, I had to make the hard decision to cull him from the side. So my captain is...
The Australians might be quite happy about that.
I'm not necessarily sure, because my captain is a batsman in the middle order, probably one of the most stylish batsmen of the 50s, and it is Peter May.
Oh, Peter May. Normally anyone who's got a stand named after them is a safe bet to make these teams, I'm finding. So tell us about what number are you batting him, and tell us about Peter May.
He's batting at 5. His captaincy was decided because he was in the Surrey side of the 50s that won 7 or 8 championships in a row. Although he didn't create the side, he inherited the side for the later years of that. At the same point, he was captaining England, whilst not captaining Surrey, and captained England to probably the best his captaincy win-loss ratio is probably the best until really. Illingworth.
Yeah, no, he's phenomenal. I think we have a group called the Peter May Boys who follow us, I think.
Yes, there's Surrey Ultras in the Peter May stand called Peter May Boys.
They're the Peter May Boys, are they? So he's your captain, he's your middle order rock. Anything else?
He's a bit more of a stylist than my opening 3.
Indeed.
So, capable of big scores. His biggest score in Test was 285 not out. Again, that was his biggest one-day score as well.
Okay. Well, Peter May is a fine choice. So our teams are starting to take shape. We've got a captain. Let's stick on a specialist position. And I'm going to start with you, Jason. We had a little chat earlier, and it was you had a bit of a challenge with this one. Tell me about your wicketkeeper.
Yes, I was struggling a little bit for a wicketkeeper to find candidates other than the obvious to pick from. I've gone for Alex Stewart as a wicketkeeper batsman, batting at 6. He scored just over 8,460 runs, just under 40. So he's the lowest average of the top 6 batsmen. And he's the only one in the top 6 who hasn't got a double 100. He's got 190 as his first class score.
Performances against Australia?
Let me just look that up, because I've got the stats in front of me.
Oddly in my head, I have recollections of him often against West Indies, but somehow not so much in my head against Australia.
His performances against the Australians weren't necessarily as good. No, they weren't. The 1,810 runs at 30. But that does include a long period where he was keeping and batting, where his average was down in the mid-30s.
Did he tend to bat higher against Australia? Because I know he opened a lot, or came in at 3.
When he opened, he didn't tend to not necessarily to keep.
Okay.
When he was purely opening, his average was in the mid-40s. But when he was keeping and batting, his average dropped down to the late 30s.
Well, with the following wind, assuming all was going well for your side, you've got someone who can add sort of beginning of the lower order runs.
Yep.
Was a terrific wicketkeeper. Not going to take any issue with you on that. And there's, again, if things have gone well, there's every chance that whoever we're playing, Australia in this case, might be taking the second new ball. And Alex Stewart's not a bad person to have around when that happens, right?
I mean, the other person I did consider for that post was Jack Richards, the Cornishman who had the job for Surrey before Stewart, who played, I think, 8 tests and 20-odd one-dayers for England. Probably could have played more, apart from the fact there was fierce competition at that point for the wicketkeeper gloves between the end of the Knott Taylor era, and then French and Radley and Downton and a few others. So, and Humpage and the Yorkshire keeper.
Yep.
Whose name's probably going to appear fairly shortly.
Well, I think I know who you're thinking about. So actually, let's come on to Nick then. Who's your gloveman? Who have you got behind the stumps, Nick?
So this is a bit of a wild card, because actually he didn't ever play an Ashes Test match. He did play one-day internationals against Australia, and it's David Bairstow. And I've put him in again because I think that there's a toughness there. He wasn't a flashy player. He wasn't, kind of potentially the best technical player. But as a character, again, to have in your team, someone to kind of rely on, to dig in, to get you out of the hole, Bluey would have been the one. He played for Yorkshire for 21 seasons, captaining them for 3, and is generally regarded as a bit of a legend around Headingley. I kind of considered putting his lad in, Johnny in, but there's debate about whether he's even the best wicketkeeper in the current England team, so I decided to keep him away from it for now.
What number are you batting David at?
7.
You're batting him at 7. That's interesting. You both got your wicketkeepers down in what I would call more traditional places for a wicketkeeper, 6 and 7. David Bairstow in there.
Well, mine was done purely on the basis of descending order of highest scores, pretty much.
Well, you've already got Hobbs, Edrich, Barrington, and actually in a minute you're going to come on and tell me, you got Peter May, then you had Peter May. So let's then move on and look at your top order. Jason, I'll start with you then on that one, seeing as we've sort of moved into that. You've got a number 4 gap to fill.
I do. This is probably the one where I had the hardest choice. I've gone for a man of Surrey rather than a man who was imported to Surrey, for want of a better description. The person I've chosen is Graham Thorpe, Farnham boy, who's got 6,700 runs, best of 200, 16 tons, at an average of just over 44.6. The person I could have chosen, had I thought he was appropriate, is Kevin Peterson.
That would have been interesting.
But I thought he played for Natal, he played for Nottingham, he played for Hampshire, he then played for Surrey. Is he really a Surrey man? And he only played for Surrey for 3 years.
Yep.
So on that basis I decided not to pick him, even though he scored 8,000 plus test runs.
And it's more at the tail end of his England career?
I didn't do the stats on that.
Curtail, I think it would have been towards the end of that. So,
but he would also
you're
be
a traditionalist, Jason, I can tell.
He would also have been very divisive in the changing rooms. I didn't want that either. But he would have riled the Australians.
You got Peter May to keep him in order. That's why you need a Peter May. It's that strength of character. But great choice, Graham Thorpe. Okay, so you've got Hobbs, Edrich, Barrington, Thorpe, and you've got Peter May and Alex Stewart. Nick, for you, you got a couple of gaps. And actually, I'm going to come on and talk about all-rounders, but you may well have your all-rounder coming up. But you've got numbers 4 and 5 to fill. So how are you doing that?
So number 4, I've gone for Joe Root. Obviously, the current England Test captain. He's got 16 Test hundreds, just a shy under 50, 26 first-class hundreds. Last few years, he's not been kind of what he was, but the 2013 Ashes, he scored a marvellous 180 opening the baton with Alistair Cook. England winning that series 3-0. He's the player of the series in 2015, the Ashes. Top scored in a few games there. He's been #1 ranked batsman in the world back a few years ago. And he was also one of the 6 ever England players to score a century in his first Test as captain. He's kind of a bit more of a strike maker than a lot of the other players in the team. You know, on his day, he's a very good player to watch. And I think there's still more to come from him as well.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. I think the other thing that you'd be very happy about is if you've got Sutcliffe, Boycott and Hutton at 1, 2 and 3, he can slot in at 4 and isn't going to suddenly be off to bump up the order. So I think he'd probably thank you for that as well.
Or he could just knock it around and give them a strike.
Well, absolutely. Okay, so that's we've got your top 4 then. Who have you got at 5?
I've got Brian Close, so a bit more of an all-rounder. Was a very young player to play for England. I think he was the youngest ever player at the time, perhaps even still is. Playing for England when he was about 18. He was also the youngest player to score 1,000 and take 100 wickets in a season. Again, another character. Didn't always get on with authority, but Illingworth's there to sort that out. And just again another kind of gritty player that wouldn't back down and kind of wouldn't give things away.
Interestingly enough, you know, he made Paul Grubby Howarth Somerset team as well. So Close is a popular choice. Both you and Grubby clearly thought grittiness and hard-boiled, tough to beat would be real qualities, and it's absolutely fine because he played for England whilst a Yorkshire player, and he played for England whilst a Somerset player, I think. So he fits in there very nicely. So for you, is your all-rounder Ray Illingworth, or do you have someone else in mind, Nick, as your all-rounder?
So I've kind of got 2 all-rounders. Illingworth's probably the better batter of the 2, slotted in at 6 around the wicket keeper. And then at number 8, I have Headley Verity, who was kind of mainly a spinner, but also a batsman. Played in that same team as Hutton in the 30s Ashes. And again, is a fantastic story as a person as well as a player. He was actually killed during the Second World War in Italy.
It's in Sicily, wasn't it? It was the invasion of Sicily, I think.
That's it, yeah. So kind of on the lead up to the war, he kind of seen himself as this tactician and signed up, and unfortunately was shot and killed during the mid-40s, and could have been a fantastic player after the war. Had it not been for that, but he his short England career leading up to that is kind of a very good spinner, you know, in certainly uncovered pictures of the day, and was more than handy with the bat as well.
Leg or off? What sort of spin did he
Left-arm
bowl?
orthodox, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, left-arm orthodox. That's also going to be a pretty useful weapon, I would think, against the likes of Steve Smith. So that's not a bad shout. And Ray Illingworth, of course, was more traditional off-break, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he really was. So you've got an interesting spin attack, and you've got 2 all-rounders, both of whom bowl spin. Jason?
Just one thing quickly about Headley Verity.
Yeah.
He also had a very famous bunny, Don Bradman.
I was about to say it had to be the Don, didn't it?
It did. He had got the Don out more times than anybody else. And I think it was the Don who said to him in one particularly long spell of bowling, for God's sake, Headley, give it a rest, because he kept on bowling it right on the spot and he couldn't get him away.
Well, there we go. Well, that makes him a fantastic choice. Obviously, we're taking today's Aussies on, but I can already see how Ray Illingworth can potentially marshal his troops to see if he can remove Smith or Marnus Labuschagne, who we're seeing as being sort of mini Steve in this current series. Jason, for you, an all-rounder?
Well, looking at my side, I suppose Alex Stewart is my all-rounder. But I also have a bowler with a significant amount of batting experience, which probably will pick next. And he's probably my luxury player. He's a player who may not necessarily expect me to pick.
Okay, tell us first, because I'm really